Okay. Hello and welcome to the RPG Academy's sample adventures. Okay, I keep on wanting to say other things because this is like the first one that I've been able to participate in, so I'm super excited. So obviously, my name is Tom. You all know me from the podcast and everything else. We're here to play Beam Saber, a Forged in the Dark game by Austin Ramsey, who is going to be running the game for us. So this has been on my list of games to play for a very long time. So I'm very excited to play. So enough about, you all know why we're here. We're going to play a cool game. So let's just, talk about who we are before we dive into the game. First, I'm going to start with Jake, because if you've seen any game with me, you've probably seen Jake as well. Jake, hello.
Hi, I'm Jake. I'm Tom's best friend. But he's not my best friend.
Yeah, I'm your.
I workshopped that earlier, and it.
I'm your greatest friend. All right, so no, Jake, that's it.
I stream on the RPG Academy. I stream video games.
Yeah,
I'm very
clutch.
boring.
MVP. Okay.
I don't make exciting things.
You make me laugh, Jake. So that is good. All right. So okay. So then we'll hop over to Mo. Mo, introduce yourself.
What's up? My name is Mo. I'm also a game designer. I made a Forged in Dark game, anime style, called Shibuyan Nights. I have another game coming out in a couple months called Hold Fast Station, and you can find out all information on all that at ashyfeet.com.
Awesome. All right, and then we're gonna round things off with Austin. Austin, introduce yourself, and then after that, I'm turning it over to you, and you're going to tell us all about Beam Saber and what we're doing tonight.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Austin Ramsey. My pronouns are he and him. You can find me on Twitter at notanin. That's NOTANINN. And you can find all of my game design work at austin-ramsey.itch.io. Which includes what we're going to be playing today, Beam Saber, which is a Forged in the Dark game about pilots and their massive war machines. So we have done some character creation beforehand, and we've got a crew that is real interesting, bunch of characters here tonight. So I think we should probably start by introducing our characters. So when I come to you, give your name, give your call sign, give your character's pronouns, their look, their history, their tragedy, and their opening. Because once we go through all of that, I'm going to have y'all come up with connections for each other, which is what your characters think of the other pilots. So, Tom, why don't we start with you?
Okay. I'll do it. All right. So I will be playing Eric Ziegler tonight. Eric's call sign is Pops, and Eric uses he, him pronouns. Eric is he's a rough-looking man. He's older, but at the end of the day, his eyes are warm and welcoming. He's got a very much an old man style hair part. He's got basically, if you're watching this, Eric kind of looks like me, but in like 15 years, if you can kind of think about that, okay? It's kind of his outfit, he's a very practical looking fellow, all right? Eric's a bureaucrat, I didn't mention that. And history, pilot trainer for the DFS. Awesome. Remind me again, what does DFS stand for? Because I did write it down, but...
It's the Democratic Federated Systems. It's the Democratic off-worlder faction that has come to our setting today.
Yeah. So, Eric wanted to make it big as a pilot, but all he could do was train the other pilots. You know what? His tragedy, he lost his family to the job. He poured everything in to what he was doing, and it just didn't work out for him. And then he started slumming it up with his opening, which is... He wound up, washed out of DFS, and got stuck teaching rich kids how to pilot mechs. It was absolutely the worst for him. And that's who Eric is.
Okay. So, Mo, why don't you introduce us to your character next?
My name is Yafet Monroe. My call sign is Kodo. People thought it was cute that I was named after that 80s movie star from the 20th century and all that. I'm young and brash and willing to try anyway. I have a streak of optimism in me because I was a survivor of a bomb shelter, but I'm also pretty clingy to the dogs because, well, they're my family now. I was a teen before the tragedy, and now my opening is I'm a bit of a hoarder and collector of things.
All right. And Jake, tell us about your pilot.
All right. My character's name is Leon Wolf. My call sign is Gamble. My pronouns are he, him. For my look, kind of like a clean face. I have very sharp eyes. My hair is long and wavy and black. Body type athletic, because it's a role-playing game, so I get to be whatever I want. And then my outfit, it's all dark. It's got the classic emo style clothings, because I'm a hacker, so I just lean into it. My history was I'm the child of a smuggler. My family were smugglers. And then my tragedy, they actually gave me up. They kind of sold me up for servitude to help pay off debt. And my opening is I'm now working at that same school as Eric's character. I work there as the IT guy.
Okay. All right. And something actually that I forgot to ask y'all to introduce is your drives. So when we're going to go over your connections with each other, because everyone gets one connection with the other pilots and one belief that expresses something that they believe in their gut is true about the other person. It might not be true. Pilots tend to be judgy and opinionated individuals because it's a necessary thing to go with your gut on the battlefield. So each of you is going to have one connection and one belief with the other pilots, and we'll introduce those. Those will help guide how you will role play with the others. And if you struggle because of them, then you will get XP at the end of the session. So coming back around, Pops, what are your beliefs with the other two? One each.
Okay. So for Leon, worked with them before, but I think, I think in my mind that Leon is responsible. So I'm going to teach them some useful loopholes, to help them get through life. All right. And then for Yafet, which I put in the wrong section, for Yafet, I believe their need to collect is holding them back from their true potential.
All right. Okay. So Kodo, tell us about what you think of the other two.
I think Gamble is super cool. He's got pirate parents. And that just means he's cool. And Pops is totally no fun. Always getting preachy and always doing the teacher sermon thing. And, he's cool, but,
tries way too hard.
All right. And lastly, Gamble, what do you think of these two?
I'm going to just steal some of the pre-written ones because I really like them. And so for Pops, I want to do that they're computer illiterate, and I'm going to fix that because I feel like Tom is in general also computer illiterate.
A little bit.
And then I like, because I pre-read, so I know what Koto's drive is, and so I found their digital secrets, and I'm going to connect it to his drive. I don't want to step on it yet, but I know what it is, and maybe I know something about it.
All right. Well, speaking of drives, Gamble, what is yours?
Oh, mine. Yes. Sorry. I'm Gamble.
Oh, I didn't give my drive either.
So my drive is to develop a virus that can control any mech remotely.
All right. And Kodo, what's your drive?
People need power. And, it seems like all of these factions are really fighting over power. And I want to develop a low profile generator. No heat, no noise, no radiation. And, I think that'll actually cause peace because then you don't need to work for the factions and
Question mark, question mark, peace.
No. You can ignore the rest. I'll keep talking.
All right. And Pops, what's your drive?
So I had teach a worthy generation of pilots, and it's a little vague there. So what we're going to do is my drive is to teach Leon and Yafet to be worthy pilots in my eyes.
Okay. So what drives do, because this is going to be a one shot, they won't be too much of a factor. But what they do over long-term play is that when you pursue your drive during a mission, at the end of the mission, or if you do a long-term project during downtime, you have to add 1 tick to one of your drive clocks, which you can see below your drive. Once a drive clock fills with 4 ticks, then you can spend it. If you spend 1 clock, then there's some mechanical benefits you can do. Like you can negate any harm or damage, you can change any roll to a 6, or you can provide all of the assist benefits to a teammate without spending any stress. If you spend 2 drive clocks in one go, then you can change the circumstances of any one person. What that means is purposefully vague because it allows the players to adjust what their drive can do and what they can do to the tone of the game. But when you change the circumstances of any one person, that might mean that they are as good as dead or just dead, or you protect them from the war forever. Maybe you get to retire away from everything. The possibilities are pretty far-reaching. If you spend 3 drive clocks, you can change the circumstances of a squad, a small group of people who you're able to really either make their life a lot better, make it a lot worse, or just slide them sideways in some fashion. And if you spend 4 drive clocks, then you can change the circumstances of an entire faction, reshape a nation in some way. But as you'll note, each of you only has 2 on your character sheet. So you would have to convince 1 or more of the other pilots to spend their hard-earned drive clocks to support your actions if you want to change the circumstances of a squad or faction.
Okay.
So that's sort of what the long-term goal play is like for Beam Saber.
We're going to be changing nations with our
potentially
with our junkyard mechs.
Or maybe you only spend 2 drive clocks and make sure you get a good retirement. Forget the other 2.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
Yeah, or maybe you spend those 2 drive clocks to save someone else.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is the sort of baseline of your characters. And so we came up with a squad real quick. So y'all are playing the Mechanized Cavalry Playbook, which puts an emphasis on your vehicles. And the name of your squad is the Dogs, because you work out of a scrapyard, which is your forward operating base. And you have the reputation for being messy.
Like dogs. We just we get it done. Some people like us, like a lot, and other people hate us, just like dogs.
They're not even human.
We're not even human. All right.
So presumably one of those groups that does like you is Doctors Beyond Stars, or at the least they've heard reasonably good things about you. So Doctors Beyond Stars are an off-worlder group that is not directly involved in the conflict. They're actually an independent squad. They don't work for any one faction because they try and provide medical aid and support to anyone who has been harmed by the war, regardless of what their faction is. They consider themselves neutral in providing aid to all. And so they are going to be your employer for the mission. So where are each of you in your base when the call comes in from the doctors that they've got a task for you? So where are you hanging out?
You know what? I'm gonna let I want to before I go. I'm gonna let Yafet or Leon go first.
Yafet is under the hood of a mech, and he's ratcheting and drilling and uploading cool code and, in his happy place.
Nice.
I think I'm probably in the same room nearabouts. I might be, helping with the AR and whatever of the mech that he's working on or my own stuff. But I feel like me and Kodo actually probably will have a lot in common. And actually probably the bureaucrat would be like our secretary, like, oh, we got a mission, boys. And like, we're just down there, having fun, living our best lives down there in the grease pits.
Okay, I got it. All right, so if you all have ever been in any sort of workshop or grungy automotive place, you know that there's always like some desk with like way too many papers piled on, manuals that should have been thrown out years ago. And in these stacks sits Eric. Sits in his squeaky wheelie chair, and he's got his legs kicked up on the desk with a cup of the hottest, nastiest black coffee. And where he should be doing his inventories, he's reading the news.
I'm definitely imagining that he's got like a cup of coffee that is so gross that sometimes it gets mistaken for like the oil changed out from one of the mechs.
Yeah, for sure. This cup has never been washed.
Ugh. All those open air fumes and floating particles.
Oh, yeah. Good stuff.
Great. Yeah. So I guess the you get a notification that there is a call coming in from the Doctors Beyond Stars. So who's picking up? And I guess where's your briefing room?
The desk.
Is the whole base at this point, because y'all are just kind of starting off as a tier 0 squad, is this like one room where your vehicles are kept? Is that like the extent of what you have made usable?
No. We have a junkyard, so we have like little areas sectioned off for each of our mechs, and people often come to buy parts and sell parts, and I don't think. I think we kind of leave all that to Pops.
Yeah, we've got maybe, you know what? AR is that's like a real big thing, right, Austin, in this game?
Yeah, so augmented reality is pretty spread throughout the entire continent. It does have a tendency to get broken in areas that have been damaged by the war or being poorly maintained since the war got here, but it does exist pretty far and wide.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm thinking like maybe this is like our main area where maybe you can bring in a mech or two to work on, and our offices. But yeah, I feel like the desk in the center, it's all junky, but when the call starts coming through, dang it, as I spill some of my coffee on me and I put it on and Leon, flip the AR rig on.
All right, fine.
All right. And I'm just envisioning like this like where we have this junky scrapyard, but we have a really, really nice looking AR system that just kind of like almost like our shop is kind of like almost transformed as there's screens that are now thrown up everywhere. As I stand up and all right, boys, got a call coming in. Wrap up what you're doing. Huddle up.
One sec. Okay, 5 minutes. Just patch it through.
All right. You keep on. All right, I'm going to let the call come through.
All right. So the voice of Dr. Denari Golian comes over the line. In a place that would be better maintained than the area that your scrapyard is in, it might be a video call or even a holo call. But because of the damages to infrastructure that have ravaged the area, you've only got voice. And so his voice comes over and he says, "Hello, is this the dogs?"
That's what we're going by nowadays.
All right. I've had it on good word that you all can provide pretty good escort services. Is that true?
Depends on who's asking.
I'm calling on behalf of Doctors Beyond Stars. You might have heard of us.
Oh, I'm gonna start snapping my fingers right away, almost like trying to be quiet, looking at Leon. Look him up.
Looks like Kodo's heard of them, but maybe these two haven't. Kodo, do you know something about the Doctors Beyond Stars?
I think D is one of my contacts is a surly professor who works with Doctors Beyond Stars, and I think one of their doctors is pretty cute.
All right. Yeah. So Dr. Golian starts to lay out what he and the doctors need from you. And so I'm just going to read the briefing for the mission. So as this is the sample adventure for the RPG Academy, we're going to be doing one of the sample adventures that's right in the Beam Saber core rulebook. So there are 6 in the rulebook, 6 different sample adventures, because they vary depending upon who your patron faction is. So the dogs being an independent faction, so we're doing the independent introduction mission. So the briefing is, your squad is being dragged into a flare-up of the war between the Jovangelian Empire's Wolfpack squad and the Church of the Celestial Myriad's Cult of Earth Found. A week ago, a series of explosions ripped through Fort Jovenel, the new home of the recently transferred Wolfpack. The Wolfpack, on leave from the front lines, has been devastated and are taking the attack very personally. Rumor has it that the attack was tied to the Cult of Earth Found, who have set up in the small town of Hollenton, a couple hours drive south of Fort Jovenel. Hotheads on both sides of the rumors are slinging vitriol over the radio. Yesterday, that switched to missiles when a barrage rained down on Hollenton from the north of town. The cult's defensive systems protected the sections of the town under their control, but the north edge of town is burning. Both sides are now gearing up for major offensive action. The Doctors Beyond Stars have rushed from their Isian HQ in Journey City to Hollenton to provide aid. It's an ill-prepared endeavor, but time is of the essence to save as many lives as possible. To handle any unexpected obstacles, they've contracted you to provide protection and ensure they're able to complete their duty. So, Dr. Golian has laid out that you are needed to get them from Journey City to Hollenton and then provide some protection while there so that they can start to arrange, if not a more permanent position in the area of destruction, then at least get enough people to places of safety and tend to the wounded temporarily.
I slide into the room, and you see me rub my fingers together.
You're muted, Tom.
I actually said that I put my mic on mute, as you know. I'm like, Kodo, all right, all right, they're doctors. What are we thinking? We just take them for all they're worth?
Unless Dr. Pamela Greer's with them, we need to absolutely get paid.
Okay, all right. Well,
I've always wanted to meet her.
Well, Leon, you got did your parents teach anything about this kind of negotiation? Or I know you were telling me that they hold on. I go back. Doc, 1 second. We were discussing some details here. All right.
I mean, I don't know what. There are a bunch of doctors who do charity work. I don't think you're going to get that much out of them.
My word. All right, hold on. Doc, what's this? For sure. I've got some friends down in Hollington. It's going to be no problem. But obviously, there's expenses, fuel, weapons. If we're going to be running into anything, we got to keep the lights on here at the old scrapyard. What kind of funds do you guys have right now?
Well, unfortunately, we are a charitable organization, and so we can't pay much. But we certainly have a lot of contacts from our charitable efforts, and so we can put in a good word with some of the people we know who might be better able to help you out or possibly provide lucrative contracts in the future.
So you're going to pay us an exposure?
Yes, so that other people don't die of it.
Okay. I need to discuss it with my crew.
So just side note about the rules here is that in Beam Saber, when you complete a mission, you get a supply roll at the end as your payout.
Yeah.
It's a random die roll depending upon how much your employer likes you, and based upon the how powerful your opposition for the mission was. But if you work for an independent faction, they don't have the kind of logistical networks that the interstellar off-worlder factions do. So they actually can't pay, except in reputation.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to find any sort of payday here, any sort of supplies at the end of this, it's going to be stuff that you scavenge from the mission itself, whether you're loading up your cargo bays with like ill-gotten gains, swiping, pulling rings off of the dead, or whatever dire circumstances.
Parting out mechs. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a normal job.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You know what, boys? It's about time we get you guys back in the field again. I got some new things I want to show you. Some new tips and tricks. Get Leon. Get you out from behind the keyboard. Actually doing real work.
It was real work for Gamble to set up like this high-end VR system,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, while you're sitting back there reading a newspaper, Kodo is arms deep in your mech. When's the last time you've done diagnostics on your own mech?
It's been a long time.
It's because I do it in the field. I'm a field guy. I got to be out there. I can feel it. Also, we
don't need to do it on a day. We'll do it in the field.
All right, we'll do it in the field. Okay. This is totally a boomer moment. He's just not recognizing your worth that you're bringing. Okay. All right, Doc, we'll take the job.
That's excellent to hear. We'll be by shortly with our transport, and then we'll head down south towards Hollandton, where we're needed.
Okay. Is this where we now do a cool scene where we run to our mechs for a really long time?
We got to do our cool one-liner first, where we say, "If you're going after a wolf pack, time to let out the dogs."
All right. So before we get to the mission proper, each of you can do a quick little gather information roll here. So think about what information you might want to get and how you're going to get it. There's no risk with these rolls unless you do something notably risky, but usually they're just fortune rolls, so there's no consequences for them. So who has an idea of what they might want to do, or rather what they might want to learn before the doctors show up, or possibly even on the way?
I think the big thing that I would be looking at is I don't know, numbers possibly of the factions that are warring, so we can get an idea of if we are probably going to run into something, or if their numbers are so low it's going to be easier to slip in and out.
Okay, and how do you want to try and find that information out, Gamble?
I'm not sure what kind of options would I have to do such a thing.
Honestly, most anything that might be represented by your player actions or by your pilot actions or vehicle actions. Like if you wanted to go ahead of everyone a little bit and scan using your vehicle sensors, or go on foot and do likewise. Maybe you look up some paperwork to see what old intelligence reports have on the Cult of Earthbound, or on Hollandton itself. Maybe you check maps. The sky's the limit just about.
So I could use a study, right, to go and look at the net for any kind of information about the cults and whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So that's what I'll do. I'll do a study.
All right. So you're looking up whatever info is available already via study. So make a study roll. What's your rating in study?
I have a 2.
So you get to roll 2d6.
All right. Here we go. 2d6. That's a 10.
Well, like other Forge in the Dark games, you take the highest die result.
So 6.
So 6, which is great. So the die results are broken up into 3 chunks: 1 to 3, which is a poor result; 4, 5, which is average; and 6, which is a good result. So on a fortune roll, which is what a gather information check is, a 6 means you get great information. Other than a crit, it's the best you can do. And so what you learn about the Cult of Earth Found is that they are a pretty well supplied squad. You know, they have been searching for humanity's holy birthplace for a long time, well before this planet was found. And so whether or not it is actually the original Earth, they have a lot staked in this place. And so they've been pouring a lot of resources in here. That said, this is, they just suffered an attack. And so they're probably at least somewhat twitchy about what is happening and likely have a perimeter set up. Now, some of those might be further north towards where the area controlled by the Churches of the Celestial Myriad borders the area controlled by the Jovangelian Empire. But there's definitely going to be a fairly strong presence around Hollenton itself.
Sweet.
All right, so Kodo or Pops, do either of you have something you want to try and learn before you get rolling?
So I would like to maybe keep the doctor on the line for a little bit longer, and I'm going to use my consort ability to just kind of have a conversation with them. Have they ever been to Hollenton before? Like, why is this like such a spark point, in this conflict? Is there something special about Hollenton that we may not know?
Yeah, okay. So roll your consort.
Which is a 2. So I got a 11.
So take the highest
6,
die.
yes.
Yeah.
Man, we're killing it tonight, boys.
Yeah, you're making good progress so far. All right, so Dr. Golian, he says that he hasn't been to Hollenton himself, but obviously he has done some research with this upcoming mission. And he did research on the Isian continent more generally before coming here, because he is an off-worlder. And actually, since we're asking about the geography itself, how many of you are from Isia, or this planet, or even from Journey City, or are you all off-worlders?
I'm definitely an off-worlder. I did a lot of traveling and stuff with the DFS.
Right, yes.
I think go ahead.
Go ahead.
So I'm feeling like, since I was a smuggler child, I probably don't even know where I actually come from. Nice. Like, it's just, I was bouncing around so much, pretty much lived, through jumping around planet to planet and smuggling things.
Okay.
And I'm from Journey City.
You are from Journey City. Okay. All right. So yeah, what you pick up about Hollenton from the doctor is that it has become sort of the main through point for the Church of the Celestial Myriad's forces, because it's not their main city on the continent. That would be Blessed Harbor, which is further to the southwest. But with Hollenton, it's sort of close to a pass that goes through the mountains that go north-south across the continent. And so it makes a good place as like a stopover between Blessed Harbor and Journey City, and the front for that matter. So a fair bit of forces have been built up around there or passed through there. But the town itself is like a medium-sized town that originally catered to nearby farming communities and tourists from Journey City. But with the Celestial Myriad military moving through the town, basically anyone who hasn't like fled or if they were fit for service, then they got scooped up. And so now the town is mostly just the old and the young.
Okay.
And it's sort of become a like semi-ghost town because the elderly still like provide services to the military of the Myriad that are present, but the AR representations of people still linger in the town. These are known as proxies. Pretty much everyone has them. They're sort of like each person's own Siri or Alexa, right? Proxies are AR entities that have a broad knowledge and skill set, but are very shallow in those abilities. You know, you can program them to know when to move a call like through to your meeting, like even if you're in a meeting. They can form simple email replies, set your alarm, that sort of thing. But when left untended, they can start to go a bit wonky and a bit weird and sometimes even dangerous. And so there are some concerns that might be happening in Hollandton because so many people got shipped out so fast that a lot of their proxies got left behind in the local AR. So there are the occasional ghosts of people who are absent wandering through the streets, confused and alone.
Gotcha. Jake, sounds like you may get an opportunity to be a necromancer in this game, you know? All right. Sounds. This what I'm gathering is Journey City's kind of like Chicago and Hollington's kind of like St. Louis. So, all right. Anyway, for us Midwest folks. All right. That's me.
I think I want to check out any satellite systems that might be picking up traffic of how many rigs are actually in the area.
So a note about the setting, actually, is that part of the reason space elevators are so important is because there's a debris field that orbits the planet. And so no satellites are really available. Like cell service basically isn't a thing because of that. Sometimes satellites get put up, but they don't last long, whether that's because, you know, one faction or another's like ships outside of the debris field shoot them down and further add to the debris field, or the debris field itself takes them out. But there could be other ways that you could get aerial imagery. Maybe you know someone who has like a drone fleet that they rent out for aerial scouting or something to that effect.
I'm going to be rolling on engineer, so that sounds appropriate.
Okay. So give me that engineer roll, whatever yours is.
Okay, so I'm going to roll 2d6, no pluses, and I got a 6.
Another 6. All right.
Let's get these sixes out the way.
Yeah, some bad things can happen going forward once you're actually in danger. All right, so great information about satellite imagery. Yeah.
So essentially, like, how many units are there? How heavy are they? I'm thinking about countermeasures of some sort.
Yeah. So to build on what Gamble was able to learn from studying the existing information on the cult, you can see that most of the forces that were in Hollandton have moved northward, presumably to the area where the missiles were launched from, or possibly to block an incoming Jovengelian offensive from the north. At the same time, a number of them have moved east away from Hollandton, a smaller group, mind you, just to dissuade anyone from the Adamant Council of Nor in the lands to their east from trying to take advantage of the situation. But there's still a pretty strong defensive perimeter around Hollandton itself, but there are definitely gaps in that perimeter if you wanted to try and bypass any sort of security checkpoints, which you definitely see on the road, because there is a major road that leads from Hollandton to Journey City. Celestial Myriad frequently uses it to move troops and goods to the main city with that road. I think you also probably spot some side roads that have been poorly maintained in the time since the off-worlders came to the continent. So that option is also there for you.
And we're trying to get into town because a part of town is not being protected. And
yes.
We have to get doctors in. Got it.
Yeah. So at this point, each of you has done a gather information roll. So now you have two options. You can either move ahead with the mission, or you can do additional gather information rolls if there's more things that you want to learn. But if you do so, I will start moving things forward behind the scenes.
I'm good to move forward.
Let's move forward. Can we talk about our rides? You're muted, Tom.
Whenever I want to take a good old guzzle of some H2O, I make sure to mute myself, and then I forget. All right, yeah. So no, I'm just saying I'm totally good to move forward. We are people of action here.
I was asking, what vehicles do you guys have? I would already know this, but I have a VI 2450. It looks like a giant firefly with scanners on its head.
Oh, that's sick.
What do you guys have?
Is that real quick though? Is that more of like a flying vehicle, or is that like a?
It is absolutely a flying vehicle.
Okay, I have what they call an armored front tactical training rig. This is a training robot that I have outfitted to.
That who's outfitted?
That you have outfitted, that over time it has now come to be what I want it to be. Maybe I stole this from the rich kids that I was training before coming over here, and it's older. It's an older looking model, but it's got some bells and whistles underneath, and it's extremely clean. Pops his whole desk is maybe a mess, but his robot is like, his mech is priceless.
Sorry, and it is ground based, or does it fly?
Oh, it's ground based.
Okay.
Well, I have made by the company J&T Express LLC, the Mr. Lifted. So I've taken this like bay loader, heavy mech to lift crates onto ships and stuff. And I have retrofitted it. So it's an older industrial bay loader on the outside, but it's equipped with weapons galore on the inside. And I feel like it's good for my kind of background of smuggling and, this hacker idea of hiding in plain sight. And so from the outside, nobody would think oh, this thing's packing heat, but that's what the dogs are so good at. And plus, I can also use it in the scrapyard to move stuff around as needed.
Don't make the dogs drop a bomb.
All right, no, that's going. You putting the checkbox in there, Mo. You got one more. All right, okay.
All right. Where's that art? I'm trying to find. I've got a bunch of Beam Saber art that I'm trying to find the right vehicles that'll match what y'all have described for yourselves.
Oh, there was one. I was looking in the book because there were a bunch of cool. I will tell you this. I think I told you all this in Discord. It took every bit of my power not to be the Ace playbook and make the coolest looking Gundam wing looking mech ever. But I did not.
All right. Well, since you mentioned you took a training mech, that's a little big.
I think that was kind of the art. I was so very simple looking mech, nothing fancy.
Yeah, this is actually it's great that you picked the DFS because this one, the Bala song, is actually the DFS's grunt suit. So
perfect.
So it's a good fit for what you described, I think.
Cool.
So with that, we'll start with planning the mission. So we've got your employer, which is the Doctors Beyond Stars. Your target is going to be the Cult of Earthfound. Your objective is get a group of Doctors Beyond Stars personnel into North Hollandton so they can assess and treat damage to the civilian populace. You have rules of engagement. So your rules of engagement are only use force in self-defense, no looting, requisitioning, stealing, and or destroying civilian commercial and or governmental property,
What?
and no threatening or employing force against civilians. So if you break here's the thing. Here's a little advantage of working for an independent squad, is that your rules of engagement, these are things that if you break them, you're not going to fail the mission. What happens is that you lose trust with the faction that is employing you. But independents technically aren't a faction. So if you break these rules of engagement, you're not actually costing yourselves any trust because they don't track trust.
All right. We'll keep it on the DL, regardless.
Yeah. The Doctors Beyond Stars might hear about you looting from civilians, but not a whole lot that they can do about it.
Yeah. We take what we need. Nothing more, nothing less, that's for sure.
So the next step is we have to decide what everyone's pilot load is going to be. So your vehicle loads are decided beforehand during character creation because those are very firm things. It's they don't change around between missions like pilot load can, because pilots can just change their outfits, drop gear off. But it's pretty hard to turn a Porsche into a big rig, right? So if you want to change from a light vehicle to a heavy vehicle, there's a lot more involved. So what are your pilots going to be carrying? Light, medium, or heavy? And so what that means is that the heavier you are, the more versatile you're going to be because you have more gear options, but you're going to be more conspicuous and you're going to be less nimble.
I'm going to go with light because I feel like that matches my deal.
And I'm going to go with medium.
I'm also going to go medium as well. I'm going medium as well. I'm not carrying a full-on backpack, but, Pops, he's, old guys, they always are prepared. So they just are.
All right. So mark off on your character sheets that you've got a medium load and a light load. And that'll give you, medium loads will have 5 available gear slots and light will have 3. Okay. All right. So with that decided, the next step is to decide the tactic for the mission. This is about how you approach the initial obstacles that might be in your way. It doesn't mean that you're going to approach the entire mission in this manner, but definitely is the thing that sets the tone for the mission. So you have 6 options. The first is assault, which is open violence against the target. There's deception, which is luring, tricking, and manipulating the target. Scientific is about engaging with technological power. Social is when the squad negotiates with, bargains with, or persuades the target. Stealth is for taking action undetected. And transport is about carrying cargo and people through danger.
Obviously, the last one kind of makes sense, but the other thing I was thinking about is what was the second and the third again?
Deception and scientific.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those 3, deception, we're kind of, all of our mechs are kind of, well, at least mine and Jake's are kind of like on down low, but then also scientific, between you two, it's like makes sense, but then also just with the mission, just kind of carrying people and cargo.
I really want to we should do the fog bank thing. You remember the fog bank thing I was telling you guys about? We should totally do the fog bank thing.
The fog bank, it's not going to work. It doesn't apply to this situation at all.
I think it applies.
Oh, what? You're going to launch it off and then we're just going to kind of walk through into the city?
Exactly.
That's right.
All right, okay. I can see the merits of why it may work. You know what? Why not? I've been thinking to myself, I need to just let you all do your own thing sometimes. So let's go for it. Let's do the fog bank thingy.
Wait. He went for that way too easy. Are you sure, Campbell? Do you think we have a? So I'm sorry, Austin. Question. I feel like the fog bank thing is a physical deterrent. Is it the same as jamming their signals? Jamming their signals feels like it could be. Jamming their ability to see us. That sounds like a scientific thing or a deception thing.
Oh, this like fog bank thing, whatever it is, definitely sounds like a scientific thing to me, because once you pick a tactic, you then have to pick a detail. And so the detail for scientific tactics is the unusual procedures used.
Okay.
So that's whatever this fog bank thing might be, it definitely sounds like an unusual procedure.
All right.
I like it.
We're going scientific.
All right. So with your loadouts picked and your tactics picked and your detail picked, I guess the detail is the fog bank thing. Whatever that might be. So now we do the engagement roll. This determines what your starting situation is. So like other Forged in the Dark games, Beam Saber uses position and effect. Position is like how secure you are in your action. It determines the severity of any consequences you might suffer if you roll less than a 6 on a roll. You might be in a desperate position if things are really bad, a risky position if things are, going as expected as can be in a war, or you might be in a controlled position if you've got the jump on the opposition. So the engagement roll tells us how things are going from the start. So you start off with 1 die for plain old luck. So we'll go through a question list to see how many dice you have by the end.
Okay.
So first up is the mission bold?
No. Is it?
What do y'all think?
Oh, you're muted, Mo.
You did a whole drink the water and mute yourself thing.
I think we're going to essentially put up this digital cloud, right?
Okay.
They won't be able to see it through the window because there's no actual cloud. But on their sensors, nobody within the fog bank is going to be able to see us. And we're going to roll right into town. I think that's quite bold.
It's quite bold. Untested, so I would say bold.
Yeah, using actual mission for a field test does seem bold. Okay, so that's an additional die. Is the mission especially complex?
Nope.
No.
Yeah, you're just sort of just rolling in there. There's not too many moving parts.
Yep.
The only thing that could stop us is somebody's eyeballs. Because they can see us. It's just the sensors are blocked.
I'm going to be your eye in the sky, letting you know when people are looking.
Okay.
All right. Does the mission exploit the target's vulnerabilities?
I did a recon check to see who's in what positions. And so I can find a road that is particularly vulnerable.
Yeah, I would say that between the research that Kodo and Gamble did, I would say you can take advantage of the patterns of your opposition. So we'll give you another die for that. Is the mission's tactic ineffective against the target?
TBD.
Well, the Cult of Earthbound are not one of the more technologically inclined squads of the Church of the Celestial Myriad. So they'll probably fall prey to your fog bank. If it was a different squad, it might be less effective, but you're good.
Okay.
Is the squad receiving external support for the mission? No one's reached out to any other squads for help. Is anyone interfering with the mission other than the target? Yes.
Yes.
So that's going to be 1 fewer die. And then lastly, are there other factors affecting the mission? Take +1 die for each one that benefits the squad, -1 die if it hinders them. You're currently at 2 dice.
We're not at 2. We got bold, we got luck, and we got tactical advantage.
But -1 for the interference of the third party.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So is there anything else that y'all can benefit from or that might hinder you?
I don't think so.
Yeah, not off the top of my head.
Yeah, I think everything might be accounted for.
Yep.
Okay, so that is 2 dice. So who wants to make the engagement roll?
Pops.
Okay, all right, we're all rolling really good, so I'll take it.
Yes.
Did it?
Another 6.
Oh.
Oh boy. All right. Getting those out of the way. I see. All right. So that'll give you all a controlled position as you encounter your first obstacle. So what this looks like, I think, is that you all have been traveling for like 2 hours at this point from Journey City towards Hollanton along the road. And it is time to go off-road and around the checkpoint up ahead that you know about from your earlier reconnaissance. I'm guessing Kodos, as he said, is going to be your eye in the sky. It's flying above the convoy you've got set up. The doctors are traveling in an APC, which has 8 wheels and is protected from small arms fire. It's not going to survive any serious attack from a mech if things go real bad, but it'll survive a couple hits. In spite of the image of the token I used, it does not actually have any guns on it, and probably has a big symbol of the Doctors Beyond Stars, which I believe is a caduceus on like a star field.
Okay. So we're approaching you said we're approaching this checkpoint then.
Yeah, there's a checkpoint ahead, but y'all have an alternate route. But you got to make sure that you don't get spotted initially. So who wants to take the lead here to try and guide the convoy past this checkpoint? Unless you want to try and go through it, which you'll still be in a controlled position. And if you want to try and approach it from a social perspective.
I think that actually one of my contacts is Beagle. All right. They're an offensive guard. All right. That I know. And maybe Beagle is one of the people here at this checkpoint.
Okay. So the rules for allies are that once per session, a pilot can declare they have, quote unquote, an old friend who can help.
Yeah.
This can be someone from the pilot's past, an NPC that has yet to be interacted with, or a previously declared ally. Describe the scenario of when you last saw them and make an action roll appropriate for those circumstances. So when was the last time you saw Beagle?
It was before it was like my last days in the DFS. He was trying to convince me not to go teach these rich kids. He was saying I needed to do a few more years in the service, get my retirement. I was like, no, this is going to be the next big thing. And we was in the middle of a mission too.
All right. So you can roll any action that is suitable for the last time you saw them, whether that's battle because you were both in the middle of a fight, or consort because you were having this friendly conversation with Beagle.
Even though battle, I only have 1 dice, I feel like it was battle. Like we were in a battle when we were having this conversation.
Okay, so let's find out how things are going with you and Beagle. That's a 5.
5? Okay.
Okay, so on a 4 to 6, you're on good terms with the ally, and they're likely to help you. But any roll less than a 6 incurs consequences as appropriate to the position, which could relate to your past with the ally's current situation, or something unrelated to the ally. So how are you? So I guess maybe Beagle is one of the people working at this checkpoint.
Yes.
And how do you reach out to them?
You know what? I already had called him. I was telling him that we were going to be passing through. That he was saying that things weren't going to go great for me, but you're kind of working at a checkpoint now. So let's reconnect when I roll on through. I'm not teaching rich kids anymore. I got a couple real spunky, guys with some potential I want them to meet.
Okay. So with that in mind, you are going to have a controlled consequence. What would be a good controlled consequence here? Okay. I know what it is. So I'm going to put a clock on the board. And that is going to be a, let's see, 4 ticks? Yeah. We'll do a 4-tick clock, and it'll be called observers. And basically, when that clock fills, you have been located. So Beagle is able to, direct attention elsewhere to let you pass, but someone has picked up that he has been communicating with someone who is not part of the Cult of Earthbound, someone outside of the organization. And so there's a suspicion growing that there might be something afoot, since you aren't coming clean.
All right, hey.
Of course, you can always resist consequences if you want.
No.
Which will cost you, if you're resisting consequences from a vehicle action, that'll cost you quirks. But if you're resisting consequences from a pilot action, that costs you stress.
I don't feel like resisting this. I feel like I'm going to, Kodo, Gamble, we just got to get through this quick. My guy's going to just let us roll through. He knows we're bringing some doctors through. It's no big deal. Old war buddy.
So did you say you wanted to resist this or no?
What's the... Yeah, you know what? What is the... Yeah, sure, I'll resist it.
Okay, so the cost is going to be 4 quirks minus whatever your vehicle attribute is that applies to the situation. I think that in this situation, it is probably going to be expertise as you try and hurry things along. So what's your expertise rating?
Oh, my expertise rating, that is... How do I calculate that?
It's the number of different actions under that attribute that you have at least 1 point.
So it's 3.
You have 3 actions that you have, 3 different actions that you have points in, or
no,
do you have 3?
3 ticks, so it's only 2 actions that I have points in.
Okay, so your expertise rating is 2, okay. So it's going to cost you 2 of your 4 quirks if you choose to resist this.
These are my vehicle quirks?
Yes, they are. And once they're all used, then your vehicle breaks down for the mission.
Ooh, okay, gotcha. I'm gonna use my utilitarian design. You know, it's very unassuming, an unassuming robot, and I'm using my complicated controls.
Okay. All right. So, yeah. So you make use of those, and tell me how you avoid the observers potentially picking up on your conversation with Beagle using these quirks.
Okay. So the conversation with my complicated controls, and they're complicated because it's an old school military rig that we've got these certain channels, and I know that Beagle's got his fitted as well. All right, we all kind of all the old DFS pilots, they all got them. So I'm flipping over to those stations. I'm just gonna Beagle. Hey, me and my crew, we're about to move on through. You got this covered for us, right?
Yeah, sure thing.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've talked on this channel, hasn't it?
You still owe me money.
What? I owe a lot of people money, but look, I'm about to. Hey, you know, I said I was bringing doctors through.
Yeah.
I'm doing that. I've got something else going on too. I'll hit you up on the way back.
You better. Good luck.
I will. Yeah. Wish me luck. My luck's your luck, you know?
We'll see.
Okay. All right.
I like how he wished you luck, and then you asked again for him to wish you luck. You wanted double luck.
Double luck. You can never have. I'm a very superstitious fellow.
It's an old DFS thing.
Yeah. It's code.
Also, I like that you hit him up on the CB.
Yeah. It's totally what it is. we gotta get real close.
All right. So while Pops is doing this, what are Kodo and Gamble up to? How are you two helping the convoy make its way to Hollandton?
So I think, me personally, I have this like old loader looking mech, and I'm obviously worried about the visual of us coming through, regardless of the fog bank thing. So I I feel like I might have like grabbed some sort of like old scrap that we had that looked like a big container or something that would almost look like, oh, they got this loader here to carry this giant crate down behind them. And so, and of course, Kodo's up in the sky. So the only mech that looks like it could be protecting them would be Pops.
Actually, that is something I wanted to ask. So we sort of allied what the fog bank thing is during the engagement roll. So what does it actually look like now that it is in use? It's obviously working well, considering you got a controlled position.
It's what it is it's creating static and noise on people's non-visual scanning devices.
Okay. So they're just sort of like, I guess, essentially a fog bank on like their radar and stuff.
Correct.
Okay, great. Okay, so Gamble, you're hauling along an empty cargo container, or at least maybe it's empty, maybe it's got stuff in it. We'll see.
Guns.
Yeah. So I'm guessing the point of this is so that you sort of look like a very non-threatening convoy if anyone does see you. So what do you want to roll to get everyone moving ahead?
Would that be would that be like a prowl?
No, because that prowl is a pilot action.
I need to do vehicle match. Okay.
Yes.
So I think I mean, it would either be maneuver or manipulate.
Yeah, I think so. I think it would depend upon whether you want to emphasize the your vehicle moving along the road and moving the convoy along, or if you want to try and emphasize the fact that it's carrying stuff.
I think I want to emphasize the carrying stuff.
Okay, so then that'll be manipulate in that case.
You're like,
All right,
look
cool.
at me! I got these big forklift
Got
hands.
this big crate. All right, it's only 1d6, so this might be where things go down.
Well, before you roll, something to remember is that if you want more dice on an action roll, you have 3 options for that. The first is that you can push yourself. If you're taking a pilot action, that means you spend 2 stress. If you're in your vehicle, you spend 1 quirk, and describe how you take advantage of that quirk. This will give you an additional die or improved effect. The next option you have is that you can get an assist from one of the other pilots. That pilot will need to spend stress equal to the number of connections they have with you, and then they provide you with that many benefits. A benefit might be an extra die, improved effect, or improved position. The last possibility is that you can take a collateral die. Now, a collateral die is a guaranteed consequence. It happens no matter what you roll, but it does give you an extra die or extra effect. So do you want more dice for this roll?
So I do have a quirk that is slow and heavy. And so I feel like I can use that quirk to my advantage to help sell this. Oh, he's carrying this giant full crate and he's just a loader, not a fighter.
Yeah, okay. So mark that off.
Right. Slow and heavy.
Come on,
used.
I'm a loader, not a fighter.
All right, that's a free one. I appreciated that one. Okay.
All right. So I rolled 2 dice. My highest is a 4.
Yeah, okay. So this was going to be a controlled standard roll. So the 4, you're gonna succeed, but you're gonna get a controlled consequence. So again, I'm gonna mark this observers. Is that what I want to do? No. So actually, what the consequence here is going to be, I'm gonna move everyone's position from controlled to risky with this, not because of any particular failure of gambles, but Kodo can see from the air that there is a skirmish that has like flared up, and it is moving closer towards the convoy. You're not its target. It doesn't even know you're there, thanks to the fog bank, and you're taking alternate paths. But potentially, it could stumble upon you all. So you are now going to be in a risky position for going forward. But you're almost to Hollanton. So Kodo, what are you going to do as you see this flare up coming towards them? You don't necessarily have to address it directly. You could be doing something else.
Well, obviously, I'll let them know that something is on their 9. So don't chat it up too much. Let's keep it moving. I don't want to engage with that. That
Understandable.
You're noted.
I want to use, I think, a scan from above to just kind of make sure that the ahead of the road is clear.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So this will be, as I said, risky at this point. With that flare up down below you, there's always the chance that they might notice you, since as established, you can still see vehicles even if sensors don't show them, and you're in the air, so you're kind of noticeable compared to the others who are traveling through the hilly territory. So you said you wanted to roll scan. This will be risky standard. So before you roll, do you want to push yourself? Do you want to get an assist from one of the other two, or do you want a collateral die so you have extra dice for this?
So I will throw this out there, Kodo. So one of my abilities so you guys know if you want to call upon it, I'm a tactical genius. All right, all right. So 2 times per mission.
You always say that.
I do. You know it. So I'm like, 2 times per mission, though, I can assist you without paying stress. So take that to the bank.
Part of me feels like we're going to need that later.
Okay. My favorite thing to do in role-playing games that have any sort of resource management is like to burn through it as fast as possible. All right. I'll leave it to you then.
I can see that. I think I'm going to use the fact that I have a very narrow frame to, you can, if you're in the middle of a fight, you're not looking for me. You're looking for something with big guns barreling down on you. And, I'm part of, I could be mistaken for someone scanning the area with drones or something like that.
Okay.
A big drone.
All right. So mark off that you've used your narrow frame quirk.
Yep.
And then that will give you the extra die that you want. So that'll be risky standard, rolling, I believe, 2d6 for your scan.
2d6. Let's go roll.
Yeah, a 4.
That's a 4.
A 4.
Okay, so you will get a risky consequence, but you succeed. So you manage to map out a path that sort of weaves its way between the flare-up and the checkpoint that you're purposefully avoiding, and any other security measures that the Cult of Earthbound have set up. So, but the consequence is observers. I'm going to mark that clock twice as a risky consequence.
Okay.
Yeah. So with that, Kodo has found a path clear through to the north end of Hollenton as you desired. And now you just need to help the Doctors Beyond Stars set up and start tending to those in need at the site. So Kodo, you being the eye in the sky, you're the first one to see just how bad things are here in the north end of Hollenton. There's almost a physical demarcation line that you can see from the air where the Cult of Earthbound's defenses were limited to. There there's like a line, and north of that, it's a bunch of destroyed buildings. Some of them are still on fire. And south of that, it looks like the small sort of like a touristy town that has been converted into a forward military base that Hollanton is. You can see the small dots of people moving around in that north end. A couple of like vehicles, but there's no real like rescue effort going on as far as you can tell. It seems like the Cult of Earthbound have largely abandoned the residents of that area to their fate, as they are more concerned with security and potential offensives from military forces. And the two of you, Gamble and Pops, you see this as the convoy begins to pull into the area. So what do you all want to do?
The doctor is with us, so gonna walk my mech up to where the doctor's vehicle is. You know, I assume we're kind of, it's obviously dangerous around. Everywhere is dangerous though, but I'm gonna kind of use my little climb down out of my mech and go over to the doctor's vehicle and give a little knock on the door. Just, all right, we're here.
Okay. So the door opens up that you knocked on, and Dr. Denari Golian is there. He's like in his mid-30s. He has dark skin and blonde dreads with white, pink, and pale blue beads woven into them. He's got a small, slight build. He's probably shorter than all of you, unless any of you are notably short. He's probably like 5'2". And he's wearing like very practical clothes underneath the doctor's like coat that he has on. And so as he steps down from the vehicle, he says, "Okay, this is about as bad as we were fearing it would be."
Really? This is it?
Yes.
Just burned out buildings, you know.
Yes.
People abandoned.
Yes, it's what we were worried about. It's why we wanted to hurry here. Would you please spread out and try and help anyone who's looking for survivors? There's a lot of these collapsed buildings. There might be people in the rubble, and those fires could spread if not looked after. There might even be someone trying to lead search parties. If you could possibly find them while we begin to set up a temporary hospital.
Okay, yeah, we can go find some people, see if there's anything. I'll put out some building fires, and we'll just go from there. So, all right, we'll do our best to help you all out. What's our timetable looking like?
Well, it'll probably take us an hour or two to get the hospital up to a temporary status, and then a little bit longer after that to really get it going. But ideally, we aren't going to stay here longer than sundown, because frankly, we're not supposed to be here. And once the cult returns from their defensive lines, they may ask us to leave. So we really need to work quickly.
Okay, sounds good. I'll go talk to the boys.
All
right.
Would it be appropriate for me to drop like kind of smoke, actual visible smoke in the area for the locals to see? Or would that attract the wrong kind of attention?
I think that...
And then my other question is, what does it look like for me to actually land?
What do you mean? What does it look like for you to land? Like, it's not. Is
that a desperate action or something?
Okay. No, that honestly won't be a roll at all unless there's something, narratively interesting about you landing. Like, if you're, landing under fire, or, you're trying to land on an unreasonable spot of land. like on top of a crumbling building or something, then we see how it goes. As for whether or not dropping smoke will be helpful, that'll largely be dependent upon how your roll goes for that, right? Because if you get a good roll, then it draws the survivors towards the hospital. You get a bad roll, then it's going to be drawing the security forces.
The wrong people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Kodo,
Right?
before you start, I know we talked about you signaling people. Before you start doing that, I'm going to go ahead and start getting into position to start maneuvering some of these buildings out of the way. And that way, if something goes wrong, I can create a distraction.
Got it. I'm going to bring it in and kind of help you guys knock on doors on foot.
Okay. So you're not dropping smoke then?
There's a lot going on around here.
Right.
No.
So I think, myself and Gamble, we both have robots that can move some junk around. So I'm gonna start moving buildings, and while I'm doing that, I'm gonna be looking for any sort of this. You said what was the Wolf Pack squad? Like, how are they tied into all this?
So they are the current suspects for being responsible for the missile attack on this area, because they were, them and the cult were sort of slinging insults over the radio over the last while after there was an explosion at the Wolfpack base.
Okay. Yeah. Well, while I'm moving all this stuff, I'm going to be looking for any sort of evidence for what actually happened, because I know that there's lots of wartime reporters and whatnot that would pay heavily for this kind of info or vids.
Okay. All right. So then here's an important question. Are you more focused on looking for a payday, or are you more focused on looking for survivors? Because those are going to be two different roles.
Payday.
Yeah, because at this point, Pops is so jaded towards the war after he was just screwed by the DFS. He's been screwed by all the companies he worked for, training people. He knows it's just a machine at this point. So he's fully invested in. He's part of it. So looking for that payday.
Okay. All right. So what do you want to roll to seek out that payday?
Okay, that is definitely going to be my survey.
It's your survey? Okay, so a note about using pilot actions while in a vehicle.
Yeah.
Frequently, this is a question that comes up in regards to survey, is that you can absolutely, use survey while in your vehicle, but it means, like, rather than using your vehicle sensors, it's like opening up the cockpit hatch and poking your head out so you can have a look around.
Oh, yeah, that's
right?
Definitely. Remember, I'm a field guy. I like to get in there,
Okay. So what does this look like as you start surveying?
All right. So I'm going to pull up my mech. I'm going to kind of give this. I'm going to let Gamble and Kodo know. Guys, I'm getting out real quick. Make sure nothing happens to my suit while I'm doing this. I'm going to see if I can get us any intel on what happened here, all right?
Okay.
That wasn't very assuring there.
Okay, well, you didn't even put it in the park. It's sitting there in neutral.
Yeah, that way I can. It's kind of look. It's leaning up against that building right there. It's not going.
The building's
anywhere.
not structurally sound.
Well, it looks okay to me. I want to be able to get in and get out. You don't understand. I don't have all those fancy buttons and stuff like you do, man. This is a total analog unit still. I'm not flying by wire here, boy. I got hydraulics and everything still. Man,
you look inside of Pop's cockpit, and it's like clotheslines on pulleys that he's moving the arms and legs with.
Yeah, all right. I'm gonna pop that thing open. A little steam comes out as it depressurizes. I don't know why it's pressurized on atmosphere, but it is. All right, and so I'm gonna go ahead and climb down and start kind of going through. Looking around. See if I find see important buildings, missiles that, may say Wolfpack squad, everybody tags their missiles.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing.
Manufacturers are a good indication of where they came from. So this will be do you have any tools to help you with searching around any gear that you want to declare.
So, okay. Oh, that's okay. This is cool. All right. So I'm going to go ahead. And
a note for everyone. On your gear lists for both your vehicle and your pilot, the first section above where it says weapons, everything above that is gear that is unique to your playbook. So for instance, Pops, being a bureaucrat, has fine official documents, a body scanner wand, travel reports, blueprints for a facility or vehicle, and a barricade tape projector for pilot gear, for unique pilot gear.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and declare that I have blueprints for a facility or a vehicle, and the facility that I've kind of maneuvered myself over to some sort of governmental facility that I knew would probably be a target, and I've got blueprints for it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So mark that off in your load.
Okay.
All right. So that'll give you improved effect because, you've got this thing supporting your actions. So this will be a risky standard roll.
All right.
Of survey.
So that allows me to roll an extra dice then?
No.
Oh.
Nor without the blueprints, this would be risky limited because you're just sort of aimlessly looking around.
Okay, gotcha. So I'm going to roll 2 dice, and I rolled a 4 and a 3, so a 4.
Okay. So there will be a risky consequence, but you succeed with standard effect. So you're looking around, you're checking out this government building. What might it be? Maybe it's a courthouse. It's like the local courthouse for this area. It's been, you can tell by initially looking at it that rather than having been blown up, it's been like partially collapsed. And so you're able to figure out that like something big hit it, but obviously didn't explode. So whatever missile or shell landed here was a dud. The risky consequence, I'm going to split it up into 2 controlled consequences. The first is that I'm going to mark the observer's clock one more time as people see you poking around in this building, wondering what you're doing, especially since you just got out of this mech, which could clearly maybe be helping sift through the rubble. And the other consequence is that for you, you're like you're wandering through this building looking for the bomb or missile or whatever, and then you spot it, and unfortunately it's under your feet. So you're now in a desperate position as you realize you're standing on top of an unexploded munition that could have destroyed this whole building.
Okay. All right. Hey, Leon.
Yeah.
Hey, Leon. So I found a bomb. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So I know you keep on telling me about how you like explosives and stuff like that. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Don't do anything brash or rash where in the building. You saw that building I just went into?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I want you to be very careful because I am inside of it right now, and I found a big bomb. It's not exploded yet.
Okay.
And I need some help.
Oh my God. Okay. I'm coming.
Because, this is not good.
I'm going to put my vehicle in park and then I'm going to climb down and very angrily move my way over to the building since, once again, our fearless leader is turning into a liability.
All right. Do you see this thing?
Yeah, I see it. It's a bomb.
Should I be worried about this?
Yes, always. But I mean, it shouldn't be that hard to disarm, I assume.
Okay. Well, what do we like? Do I know like who made this bomb, or does Leon know who made the bomb?
Well, you got a success on that survey roll, so yeah. You can definitely tell that it is of Jovangelian make, so it does come from the Empire. That doesn't necessarily mean that they were the ones who fired it, but it is, manufactured in one of their factories.
So the church is part of the Jovangelian Empire, right?
No, they are a separate faction. The Jovangelian Empire is an autocracy that is at war with, amongst other factions, the theocracy of the Church of the Celestial Myriad.
What's the Jovangelian Empire doing within this?
So the Wolf Pack are part of the Jovangelian Empire.
Oh my word! It's deep. It's deep, Leon.
Yeah. Okay. So if I'm going to try to disarm this bomb, would that be an interface?
Hold on, Leon. Don't do it yet. Can we take the bomb?
Why?
I don't know. Don't you? Yeah. I mean, Kodo, he likes things.
Okay, if I disarm the bomb, we can then safely take the bomb.
Yes.
And then rearm it later.
But then that's the whole reason. You don't understand. That's why I don't put my mech in park, because then it's in neutral. I can just hop right in. What are we going to do with a disarmed bomb? Oh, okay.
We'll arm it later.
We can arm it in the field.
Are you
arm it.
Are you trying to be smart or something?
Okay. I'm pretty sure the tier of smarts in this, we got Kodo up here, and then me, and then literally anybody who walks through the door offering us a job, and then you.
I mean, I think Pops did ask for help. So why don't you accept the help, Pops?
Yeah, Pops.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I mean, that's not how I would do it, but sure. You do what you need to do. You do what you need to do, and we'll take the bomb, disarm it, and then you better be able to arm it quick when we need it, all right?
Okay. So here's the thing. With Beam Saber, you can use, you get to choose which action you roll. But if it is a less suitable action, you'll have reduced effect. Now this bomb, I would let you roll interface. Maybe you are looking at the computer program that controls the armament. But I think that engineer would be a better action to use for this. So I'm going to give you limited effect if you choose to use interface.
I'm going to help. I'm going to help because, these guys are my family. And if they blow up, well...
I imagine it more like we have this whole big thing, and then I turn around and actually look at the bomb, and I'm like, oh, this is not me, this is Kodo. And then Kodo has already come over, and I'm just like, yeah. You take care of it, and I'll look like I'm doing it, because we can't let Pops know that we're both not totally useful.
Well, here's the thing. Kodo can assist your roll if you want to roll interface or action.
It's going to cost me stress.
Yeah, it's going to cost Kodo a stress to provide you with one benefit. So maybe he's talking you through it if you want to do it yourself. Of course, if
Actually, I could just ARN and just point at stuff and tell them what to do.
If you're good with taking the stress, I don't want to force you to take the stress.
I'll take the stress.
All right.
To give you an idea, everyone has 9 stress to spend before they suffer consequences from spending stress.
Gotcha. Okay.
You don't die, but you do gain a scar and you are temporarily removed from the mission.
Gotcha. All right. So I have 2 interface.
Okay. This will put you at, because you're using interface and both you and Pops are basically standing on top of this bomb. This is going to be desperate limited before.
And wait. Pops has plans for the bomb.
No, do I?
No, you already declared that your plans were for
the building.
Yes. If you want to mark a second set of blueprints to take up more of your load, then I will let you have a portfolio of munitions to reference.
Oh,
and
no.
if you wanted to give some support without burning stress to save your own life, that might be polite too.
I'm gonna take some. I am gonna go ahead and declare a piece of gear as as Gamble's in there doing all this computer stuff. I'm gonna declare that I have a set of burglary gear. All right, it's a bunch of picks and stuff that are, they may not be applicable to this situation, but you know what? Like trying to but you know what? I'm gonna like show him that I have these, and like here you go.
It's like you need a flathead screwdriver, but a butter knife will do.
Yeah, that whole situation. You've got this like complicated hacking thing in there, and I'm just like, here's some tweezers, and it's just. But you know what? You realize that I'm kind of in my old age. I'm starting to become endearing, so you really want to save me. So you're extra motivated too.
So motivated.
So can we get an extra die and an increase effect now?
No, only one person can assist on each roll.
Okay, got it.
So decide whether it is the ineffectual burglary gear that is Pop's providing, or the walking through the disarming of a bomb that Kodo is providing that is more relevant to this.
Yeah, we're
gonna definitely go with Kodo.
And I'll save that burglary gear for another time.
Yeah. Okay. So Kodo, mark 1 stress, and Gamble. You can choose if you want improved position, which would take you to a risky instead of desperate. Improved effect, which would move you to standard, or an extra die, and you can still push yourself or ask for collateral die if you want more help.
Keep it desperate and take the extra die. If it's desperate, you get experience.
That is true.
All right. So I'm rolling 3 dice
with limited effect at desperate, unless you want to push yourself or get a collateral.
I'm good at desperate times. A 5.
A 5. Okay. That is a success, but there will be a desperate consequence. All right. Okay. So what happens is that I am going to tick the observer's clock one more time. So it is now full. So
because there's 2 mechs outside the building now.
Yeah. So basically, the efforts that the 3 of you have been up to, and the doctors, you've finally been spotted by like the various parties here, whether that's the locals and the Cult of Earthbound Security. So people are going to start asking questions that you would have preferred to wait to answer, if ever. But you do succeed without blowing up the bomb, without anyone losing a leg. But with a limited success, I'm going to say that the bomb is like, because you were using interface, you weren't able to completely disarm it. What you realize in hacking into the like arming mechanism is that this is a cluster munition. So, you know, it's not so much one bomb as it is like 24 smaller bombs. And what you're able to do is prevent the munition from splitting open and spilling out all the bomblets. So this thing is like half disarmed. It's not going to open up and spill everything, but you know, it's still packed full of explosives. So it's not going to go off now, but it's, you know, if someone hits it out of the building. If someone hits it with a sledgehammer or something, it could still go off.
So this could be an asset.
Yeah, this is exactly what you wanted, Pops.
Yeah, nice. We got proof. I'm gonna take. We got some pictures, some drawings, some sketches. You know, who's behind this? This is gonna give us we'll contact that reporter that I was telling you that I know. They write the great pieces, you guys. I remember. Oh, I was reading the news earlier, the newspaper. So maybe there's a reporter that I think I know, but all I do is I just read there, and I just have this weird parasocial relationship with them. Okay.
You think you're a follower, not a friend.
I know, right? Okay.
So yeah, Kodo. From the air, you notice 2 things. The first is that there's like a small group of ragged people, presumably survivors, heading over towards the courthouse where Gamble and Pops are located and dealing with this bomb. Maybe put air quotes around dealing. the other thing that happens at the same time is that you get a radio message. Someone hails you and says, "Unidentified flyer. This is Senior Kin Larissa Purser of the Cult of Earth Found. Identify yourself and your intentions. You are in Celestial Myriad airspace."
Oof. Pops.
What do you need?
Somebody wants me to talk to him.
Just talk to them. Why do you need me for?
Last time didn't go well.
Hold on.
What do I say? What
are they asking?
They want to know what I'm doing in unidentified airspace.
Tell them that. Who are they? Did they give you a call? Did they give a call?
Larissa something. She's from the church.
She's from the church. Tell them I don't know. What did church doing church things? Tell them that you'll leave. Tell them you'll leave. That's it. Tell them you'll leave, but don't really leave. Just kind of hide.
Okay.
Master tactician.
So I'm asking for some assistance. Are you able to help me with assistance?
I will help
Excellent.
you. I'm gonna just.
That gives me a die.
Okay, yeah. I'm almost like I'm like bugged into your call, so I can hear it too, and I'm just gonna like tell you kind of what to say. It's very awkward.
We're gonna try to Cyrano this. So I'm gonna do I think this is a sway.
Yep, that sounds right.
All right, that means I have a die. And
so this will be risky standard.
Risky standard. And if I take another stress, I get another die. Is that it?
If you push yourself, it's 2 stress. Assisting is a bit easier.
Yeah. So I'm assisting you with my tactical genius. Hide. Just like go away and hide.
I'm on it. And could I use gear for this?
Yeah, if you've got something in mind that might help with convincing this person that you're not a threat, or at least a minimal one.
Okay. So let's see. And is this going to be personal gear or vehicle gear?
So when it comes to gear, either one can provide you with a benefit, depending, like, as long as it makes sense narratively. So I don't know what you might have that would be convincing of this fact.
I might have a holo projector.
Okay, yeah. So mark off a holo projector and tell me how you're making use of it.
So I say, just surveying the damage. My mom lives here. I'll leave now.
Okay, and what are you using the holo projector for?
And the holo projector is going to make it look like I am flying away, when in reality, I'm landing.
Yeah, okay, that'll work. All right, so this will be risky standard thanks to your holo projector. And you've got 2 dice, I believe, between the assist and you pushing yourself.
Okay. Let's go ahead and do that. And as long as I don't run out of stress, I'm okay. Is that right?
Yep, it's only the 9th point that causes issue.
Got it. Okay. So we're going to roll 2d6. And I got a 4.
A 4. Okay, so that is a risky consequence, but you do succeed. So I am going to start a clock, an 8-tick clock. And this clock is going to be called MASH because it is about the doctors setting up their field hospital to tend to the people, and you all buying them the time to do so. You know,
Right.
you're basically trying to do a fait accompli for the squad. You know, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission, right? That's the
Yep.
general strategy they're going with. So since you got a standard success, I'm going to mark that twice. And once that fills, then you're basically free to go, or at least free to try and get the doctors out again if you want.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, but you do get that risky consequence.
So
yes,
what is the consequence? And I can resist it, right?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
So the consequence is going to be, so from a distance, one of you see you see a mech, a celestial myriad mech that is further in town, and it sort of like has this hunched appearance with this like sort of bulky back, and it's got a big set of miniguns on each arm, and it's got like these sort of spindly legs for its build. It's a very strange looking mech. It's called an arquebusier, and it's like the grunt of the celestial myriad.
Ooh.
And it's approaching you, and over the radio, senior kin Larissa Purser, the one who contacted you, she says, what does she say? She says, "You are a dangerous aircraft that is unidentified in our airspace. You will be gone." And she opens fire. As a clearly she's not aiming for you. It's like meant to be a warning shot. You did get a success here. But in part because you have obscured where you are going with your holo projector. And maybe she's not as good a shot as she thinks she is. So she actually hits your mech.
Oh, my word.
Nah. No, so we're going to resist all of that.
Okay, so I was going to give you a level 2 damage shot up, but there's 2 ways you can resist that. Because it's physical harm, you can declare armor if you want, which will cost 2 vehicle load.
Yep.
Or the alternative is to spend quirks to resist it.
We're going to spend quick and light and fold up.
So may I make a suggestion?
Tell me a suggestion.
Okay, so since you have those cavalry
Extra.
hard points,
Yeah.
right? So that's 2 free load of armor. So you can get basically 1 use of armor for free if you want.
Got it.
This would be a decent use of that, since the alternative is to use those 2 load on a weapon. But
okay. Armor it is.
yes, because it would cost you 2 quirks to avoid this consequence.
Right. Okay.
All right. So yeah, there's the your ship rattles and shakes as machine gun bullets bounce off of the side of it, and your armor can't take much more as you land amongst the destroyed buildings below.
Did you, Leon, did you hear something?
Yeah, that was me. I'm all right.
I'm gonna start running. I'm running out of this building now. Get that. Hold on. Do you need me to carry that bomb?
So the bomb is like 500 pounds. Neither of you is carrying it.
The mech has to carry it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, of course. I'm gonna run out. Get your mech.
So Pops, you run out of the building and almost run smack dab into a crowd of like a dozen people.
Hey there, folks.
Yeah, so most of them look really beat up. They're covered in dust. Some of them have torn clothes and minor injuries. Some of them have blood on them, which probably isn't their own.
Okay.
And one of them is in the lead, and it's this person. They've got chin length gray hair. stocky build. They've got pale skin. They're in a like white tank top and blue jeans and a bomber jacket.
Real cool dude you got there, huh? He's a real tough guy, hey?
And they're probably they're like in their late 40s. So I guess maybe around Pop's age, if that's accurate.
Yep.
And so you like almost run into them and they walk right up to you and they like give you a shove and they say, "Who the hell are you?"
We're here to give you, I'm not here to give you help. There's some doctors out there who are going to give you help, and I brought these doctors here to help you.
Your accent. You're not from Izia, are you?
So what if I'm not? I'm gonna Leon, get it. Leon.
Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to you. Let's just have a conversation. What do you? I'm not from Izia, okay? But how? I'm just
get the hell out of here. We don't want any off-worlders helping us. Look around. You've helped us enough already.
Yeah, this is not. You guys should really do something about this. It's not looking very.
Is there swearing allowed on this stream?
Yeah, you could swear.
For PG-13. Oh, there's the one.
We get one. Yo, what? It's calm down. I'm gonna leave. Okay.
You're gonna need to roll something here to extricate yourself from this situation after telling these people who just got bombed that they should do something to fix their house.
I know, right? Dude, it's getting a little annoying there.
Can I sneak around this mess and get in my mech?
Yeah, okay. So I think that's going to be two separate roles because, obviously you're not assisting each other with this.
No.
So we'll handle Pop's roll first to see how fast he can talk.
My consort roll. All right. I can talk to people. All right. I've spent my life talking to people of high station, low station. This was just a slip of the tongue. I was annoyed by the whole bomb thing. I'm a little on edge right now. So yeah, I'm going to roll my consort roll to just kind of tell this guy I mean no harm. Just relax. I'm leaving.
Okay, this is going to be risky limited unless you've got some gear to try and smooth things over a bit.
Yeah, I do actually have some gear. You know what I have? I have a bribe. Oh, no. I got a better idea. I have fine official documents. All right. Okay. I could have just led with this, but I'm actually supposed to be here. These are official survey documents. I'm supposed to be making sure none of these buildings are going to collapse. Okay. I'm helping these people.
So a great thing about the bureaucrat playbook is that there are other playbooks that have like fine forged documents, but you have fine official documents. These are actually legit documents. Yeah. But at some point before the mission, you actually went and got survey permits for someone to do and have a look at Hollanton.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to show them these. Look, I should have just led with this. I'm making sure none of these buildings are going to fall on you all. Okay. We're going to take care of this for you.
Okay. So this will be risky standard in that case.
All right.
And do you want to push yourself or get an assist from Gamble? Or I guess Gamble's kind of busy elsewhere, sneaking away.
Gamble's busy right now. Kodo's getting shot at. I got to do this myself.
So do you want to push yourself for 2 stress or do you want a collateral die?
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to push myself for 2 stress.
Okay, and you're going to take an extra die or extra effect?
I'm going to take an extra effect.
Okay, so this will be risky great. And I'm going to put this towards the MASH clock.
Yeah.
Because while you're talking these people down, it's, going to help buy the doctors the time they need.
Okay, here we go. Roll my 2 dice, and I got a 1 and a 3.
Okay, so that's unfortunately a failure with consequence.
Yeah, okay.
So what happens here? So you like hold up these survey papers to be like, see, I'm supposed to be here. And this person slaps the documents out of your hand and punches you in the gut.
Oh.
And so you're going to take the level 2 harm. Let's go with broken rib.
Okay, so level 2 harm. I'm just going to write broken rib. Ugh.
Yeah.
Oh,
And so that
gosh.
is going to give you -1 die on any roll where it's relevant, but you can of course resist if you want to declare armor or resist through other means by spending stress potentially.
Okay, I'm going to spend some... No, you know what? I'm going to declare... No, I'm going to spend some stress.
Okay, so to resist this, let's see, what would it be? I think this would be an insight resist, because it's a matter of saying like you've made your case, and so you like tell that it's not working, so you're gonna have to do something else to avoid getting punched here. So the way that resisting with stress works is that you roll dice equal to your attribute rating, and then you take stress equal to 6 minus the highest die. So what's your insight rating?
Oh, my insight rating is 2.
Okay, so you're going to roll 2d6. You're not going to get punched regardless, whatever the result is, but you're going to take stress equal to 6 minus the highest die.
So I'm going to take 3 stress.
Okay, so mark off 3 stress.
All right.
You see the punch coming, and you sidestep it or dodge out of the way.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to dodge out of the way, and I see that these guys are no bueno, and I'm going to just start running towards my mech that is in neutral.
Oh, they're between you and your mech.
Oh, okay.
If you want to run, you're going to be going back into the building where the bomb is.
Oh, I'm going to run back into the building knowing that Leon is coming to get the bomb.
Yeah, so we'll check in on Gamble now. So Gamble, you're trying to like sneak out a back door to get to your mech, right? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, my dog was barking. So I figure with him, kind of distracting this crowd of people for me, I'm just gonna, with my dark clothes, blend into the rubble and slip on over to my mech.
Okay, what do you want to roll for that?
Prowl?
Yeah, that's exactly what Prowl is for.
Nice. I found a use for it.
So this is going to be risky standard, unless you have any gear that you want to declare to help you with this, or you can, of course, get an assist from the other two, or the collateral die, or spend 2 stress to push yourself. So
I think... I guess I could do 2 stress. I haven't taken any stress yet, so I'll take the 2 stress. So that way I'm going down in resources as well. So I'll take 2 stress to give myself another die, and that'll put me at 2 dice. Here we go. A 4.
Okay, so that is risky standard. All right. So you do manage to make it back to your mech without being spotted. What's the consequence? Okay, I know what the consequence is. As you get into your mech, and start to return it back into an active state, you see on your sensors that there's another mech approaching from within Hollanton. And you like cross-reference it with the readings from Kodo's mech earlier after that conversation that he had, and you can tell that it's the Arquebusier heading into this rubble zone to investigate what's going on, because clearly they have picked up something happening here as well. So there is a mech on its way. So I am going to start a 4-tick clock. That is going to be called, what will it be called? Arrival. And I'm going to tick it twice. And when it fills, that means that Cult of Earth Found mech is going to show up.
You should have.
Great.
You should call that clock go time. All right.
There we go. All right. So who has something that they want to do now? All right, Kodo, what are you up to?
So is it going to be more helpful for me to get in with the doctors and help them set up their station? Or to tell people to go see the doctors?
Both of those would be helpful. It's really a matter of like, what do you want to roll and what sort of story do you want to tell, right? What's more, I guess here's a question. What's more important to Kodo? That the doctors get set up like more quickly, or that, you know, people are getting like triaged sooner?
You know, I want to help them set up their hospital and low key see kind of some of the stuff they're using. So I'm going to land my mech in an alley. I don't have to use the tag, I think, but my mecha folds up, like the wings up, coming close, and
yeah.
So I get in, and I'm gonna go ahead and lead with engineer and make a roll.
Okay, and helping them set up. Do you want to spend any stress or get any assists or collateral die for extra dice?
And no, I'll just roll 2d6.
Okay, and do you want to declare any gear?
Did you add stress to me?
I did not.
Oh, did somebody add stress for me?
Maybe maybe I accidentally did that.
Yes.
All right, my dog is.
Put stress on your own one.
Yeah, I was on the wrong sheet.
So yeah, this will be risky standard unless you want to declare any gear for additional effect.
Yeah, I have fine engineering tools.
Those will be very helpful.
So, does that take me to risky?
Great.
Anything?
Yeah, it'll bump you up to risky great, which will, if you succeed, will put 3 ticks instead of 2 on the mash clock.
All right, I love it. So I'm going to go ahead and roll 2d6. And I got a 5.
That's a 5. Okay, so let's mark that mash clock 3 times. You are now at 5 ticks out of 8 for the mash clock. The doctors are, you know, they're like a bit more than halfway set up. They're looking good. What is the consequence? You know what? Why not? I'm going to mark that arrival clock 2 more times.
What?
Yeah, sometimes these clocks fill fast.
You look like you're spoiling for a fight or something.
Well, I mean, the people come to see mechs fight, right? I'd be a sore GM if I didn't give you something to shoot at, I suppose.
Are we fighting?
Not necessarily. You know, things don't have to break bad immediately, but
it'd be cool if they did.
But so yeah, Kodo, you like are helping set things up, you know, setting up some machinery that'll help the doctors do field surgery and that sort of thing. And then you hear like the stomping feet of a mech approaching. And then stepping over and through a destroyed building is that arquebusier that shot at you earlier. It hasn't spotted your mech hidden in the alley. And it doesn't exactly point its guns at the hospital that is in the process of being set up. But over the loudspeaker, you can hear that familiar voice that says, "I am Senior Kin Larissa Purser of the Cult of Earth Found. Unidentified vehicle and people, identify yourselves. You do not have permission to be here. This is an active combat zone." And so now y'all will have to deal with her.
Okay.
So yeah, so just as a reminder, Pops is currently rushing away from a mob.
Yeah, back into the building.
Yes. Gamble has climbed into his mech, and Kodo is with the doctors helping them set up his mech nearby in an alley.
It's still daytime, right? Is it daytime?
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe like the sun is at its high peak and because there's a hole in this building because we said the bomb had to land through here.
Yep.
All right, Gamble, I'm back at the bomb. I need a quick evac. All right.
I will.
We got bigger problems out here, Pops.
I need to get. Okay, great. I'm getting chased right now, and I decided that I was gonna run to a bomb. All right,
we got a mecha out here, fully armed, leveling machine guns.
Well, once Gamble picks me up, he's gonna drop me off at my mech that's in neutral, ready to go, and we'll be there in a hot second.
But he's got to do that without looking threatening.
I'm gonna just walk over, dragging my big crate, and just like look like I'm moving rubble around in my big loader. And then I'm gonna reach down through the hole and I'm gonna pick up the bomb gingerly. And I'm assuming Tom is gonna ride on the bomb.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I'm going
like Doctor
to,
Strangelove, but in reverse.
And then my plan is gonna be actually put the bomb into the crate. And then, just like drag it back over and let Tom onto his mech.
Yeah.
Let Pops onto his mech.
Okay. What do you want to roll for this?
Man, I feel like that's a whole lot of manipulate.
Yeah, that's exactly what this is for. With precision moving of objects with your vehicle. Is there any quirks you want to spend for this, or do you want to get an assist?
I think common work model would be a good, just because like it's made to pick up and move stuff. Like that's what it was made for, is a common working model. So
yeah,
I'll
that
go
tracks.
With that.
Yeah. Okay. So this will be risky standard. Is there any gear you want to declare to help you with this action?
Man, let's see.
And does anyone want to assist?
Oh, you know what? I can assist. I can assist by declaring some gear, right? That I have, right?
As part of your assist, yep.
Yeah.
You still have to spend the stress?
Yes. How much stress is it? Just one?
It's just the one to assist because you have one connection with everyone. If you had more connections, it would be more stress.
Gotcha. I've got.
Can I declare a mobility suite?
Yeah, absolutely. So, what kind of a mobility suite is it that your loader has?
Let's see. I think the all-terrain maybe would be good here, just because I'm walking very gingerly with a bomb over rubble. Very uneven footing. Wouldn't want to slip.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right, so mark off the 2 load for your mobility suite.
And so that costs 2 of my 6, right?
Correct.
But then don't we have extra 2 for our squad or something?
Yes, but you can only spend that 2 on armor or weapons.
Gotcha. Okay.
I will say that my assisting, because part of all of this is he's also got to drop me off at my mech while trying to maneuver this bomb around and everything. So I'm going to help him out by saying that I have a remote vehicle control, and I'm going to bring my mech back, like try to get it as close as possible so he doesn't have
that's why you leave it in neutral.
That's
okay.
why I leave it in neutral. That's the only way this particular remote vehicle apparatus works. Because it doesn't actually it can't be in park because that's like a physical lever and the thing. It's got to be able to move. So.
All right, so total, I have 1 in manipulate, plus I have a bonus for my mobility suite, and I have 1 from Tom supporting. So is that 3 dice total?
You also pushed yourself with your quirk. So gear, unless it specifically says, doesn't give you extra dice, but it will give you increased effect.
Okay.
So this will be risky great with 3 dice because of the assist and your quirk.
Gotcha. All right. Highest is a 5.
A 5. Yeah. Okay. So that is a success. You easily get Pops over to his vehicle. No bombs exploding. But you will have a consequence. I think over the radio you hear the person who tried to punch Pops shout, oh my God, they're going for their vehicles. They're going to kill us all. And the crowd like scatters. And like, as you're looking at this person gamble, you can see that the look on their face isn't like actually scared. They look more like almost opportunistically determined.
Antifa.
And they actually run into a like building that is like mostly intact rather than scattering like everyone else. But in the meantime, what are Pops and Kodo up to?
Oh well, so describe, because I had to step away because my dog was barking at somebody. What's the so this mech? Obviously, I look now that the arrival clock is all the way up. So the mech is there, right?
Yes, the arquebusier has shown up and is yelling through its loudspeakers to the doctors at their hospital, along with Kodo, who's also there, to identify themselves because they do not have permission to be here.
Well, I'm gonna over our radio. All right, y'all remember that our mission directives: we can't do civilians. We can't be looting. But this is a military vehicle, and if we take it out, finders keepers. All right. So
scraps, baby.
Scraps. We got a new scrap yard. So we got some new stuff coming. All right.
Okay. So
I'm taking it out.
Before you attack, hold on, Pops. Is there a way I can put a virus in this mecha to make it turn off?
Yeah. So if you want to try and hack an enemy mech, so I know you're probably looking at interface for this. Interface is generally about editing code rather than making straight up attacks. So I think that interface could work here since you're just trying to like shut it down temporarily. The question is do you have any gear to help you with this?
Of course I do.
So what are you declaring?
I think I saw in here that I have a program. Program? Isn't there a program?
There's a coding program, which is like for editing code. There's an intruder's countermeasures program, which is to protect you against hacking.
How about a vehicle remote control?
Vehicle remote control is for your own vehicle, not for someone else's.
Palm computer?
Palm computer with useful programs. I would say that this doesn't give you improved effect, but it will give you the opportunity to do this at all.
Okay.
Yeah. Not to deny you this opportunity, this form of action, but what you're attempting is more of the hacker's wheelhouse.
Gotcha. I do have as much interface as he has. Although he's better at it. What's that crack to get into the arquebusier model again? Gamble?
It is you gotta
left, right, up, A, B start?
Yes, that's exactly it.
All right. Are you cool to give me a die?
Yeah. So I'd take one stress for giving to somebody else?
Yep.
All right, boom. Ooh, it's stressing me out, but here's the code.
So that takes me to 3 dice with improved effect.
This will be risky limited unless you, instead of taking that extra die from gamble, you decide to take extra effect, and then it'll be risky standard.
Oh. Let's see. I also have gadgets. Could I say that this is a particular gadget to do this thing?
Sure.
And get improved effect?
Yeah, sure. What's the gadget like?
The gadget would be a local EMP.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Is narrating that going to improve my situation?
Yeah, if you mark off the gadget, I'll give you a risky standard instead.
Okay. So am I marking off 2 gadgets or 1?
That's just 1 gadget for your EMP.
Okay.
I'm going to say it's single use, though.
Yes. So I'm going to point my little EMP claymore at it and press the button.
All right, risky standard.
So that I still have 3 dice.
From the assist, yep.
Yeah, okay. And I only get a 5.
You get a 5. Okay. So a risky consequence. What would that be? Yeah, okay. So you hit the arquebusier with this EMP that you've got. And you hear Senior Kin Purser shout over like the loudspeakers, like in confusion about what's happening, and the speakers themselves are like going staticky, and then the arquebusier shuts down for like a little bit. There's a chance to act here while it is deactivated.
Right.
Unfortunately, the risky consequence shows up, and that building that the person who seemed to have been leading and or riling up the crowd, it finishes collapsing as a new mech emerges. This mech has like 4 legs, and each leg ends in a spherical wheel, and its upper body is humanoid. It's holding like a bullpup machine gun in its 2 hands, and it's got missile pods on either shoulder.
So, would you say then, looking at this mech, that Eric would say like, oh yeah, this is a type of mech that is driven by somebody who wears a white tank top
and a bomber jacket?
And a bomber
Absolutely.
jacket in a futuristic world. Man, hate this guy. As I'm like, I'm about to like bull rush this arquebusier, and I like stop. Gamble.
Yeah.
All right. This thing's big. All right. But, Kodo kind of turned it off for you. You got this.
All right.
I got other business to do.
I'll go after the EMP one.
What's that?
1 second. Austin?
Yep.
Does stopping the arquebusier give any ticks on the hospital clock?
No, it's only ticked the arquebusier clock, because the arquebusier is like closer to being destroyed.
Okay.
Unless if alternatively, I will, if you want to split the results, I will take 1 tick out of the arquebusier and put 1 into the mash.
Because you said once that clock gets full, we can leave.
Yeah. So do you want to split it, or do you want to keep it all in the arquebusier so the arquebusier is closer?
What do you guys
destroyed?
think, guys?
I'm good with whatever.
Okay. Let's split it.
Split it. Okay. So the arquebusier isn't as damaged as it initially appeared to be, but it's maybe shut down for a little longer than the pilot would have liked. And so the doctors are able to use that extra time to continue, they really put the pedal to the metal with setting things up.
Cool.
Yeah, a giant mech is looming over them now. I'm like, hurry up, guys. And it's done.
One of them really quickly unfurls the symbol for the Doctors Beyond Stars over the tent.
Yeah, they're like, we're trying to keep this on the down low, but you know what? We're going down guns a-blazing, and this is how doctors can do it. So yeah.
Syringes a-blazing.
Yeah, they do not have guns.
Okay, yeah. It's metaphorical guns. All right. So yeah, my plan is I'm done going after this arquebusier. I know it was big fish, but I got grudges right now. So I'm gonna leave that up to Gamble.
And I will go after the arquebusier.
Okay, so which one of you wants to take a swipe at their opponent first?
I'll let you, Jake.
All right. I will go first.
Hit us with it.
So most of my points are actually in destroy. And so here's my question. So this arquebusier it's locked down. And if anything, it might be something like a building or something that you would destroy. So my question to you is, can I use destroy to try and destroy this non-functional mech?
Yeah, you can so destroy you're right. It is in part about doing damage to things that aren't fighting back. It's also about like uncontrolled violence. So just to give you an idea of what the consequences might be if you decide to try and use destroy, if you try to destroy this arquebusier that is looming over the hospital tent. I'm not saying you can't do it.
Jake,
just,
it's a one.
We might not have much to salvage.
It's a one shot.
So I don't have anything in battle. Is the only problem.
0 precision.
How about rec? Do you have anything in rec?
Well, that's a pilot action. Does that count for this?
No. Yeah, you would. Destroy is basically the vehicle equivalent of wreck.
All right. So I guess I'm going to do it. I'm going to destroy. Oh, wait, what does bombard do?
That would be long range attacks. I think you're a bit too close for that.
Yeah. I'm going to go with destroy. I'm going to do it.
You guys can swap. Oh, you can't. The other guy's moving. You can't destroy it.
Yeah. No.
Okay. So this is going to be risky standard unless you want to declare some gear to help with this.
So let me see here. Under gear, and would this be under like vehicle gear that I'm looking for?
Yeah, presumably.
So if I did like a melee weapon versus like explosives, would that help not do so much damage to the looming hospital?
It's less about, it'll color what damage you might do to the hospital, right? Like I said, it's about your methods here. If you're swinging a sword wildly without like much precision, that could potentially still crash into the hospital as much as, if you're chucking mech grenades or something. It's really, what do you want your vehicle to be armed with? And remember that you've got the 2 load free for vehicles or weapons from your cavalry hard points.
All right, so I think I'm gonna equip, and I don't have to declare them all right now. Just the one I'm using for this attack.
Yep, just the one you're using for this attack.
All right, so I'm gonna go with a melee weapon. I think what it's gonna be is probably like looking at the picture of the 4-legged mech, like maybe the little things on the front legs like pop open, and inside there's like these 2 wrought iron spikes that I can just like stab and try and like get into the internal parts. So I'm not just bashing against the armor. I'm like stabbing with precision in some ways.
A junker's equivalent of a rapier.
Yes. And it says a weapon or 2, so there's no like dual wielding bonus or anything. I can just say I'm dual wielding if I want.
Yep.
So for right now, I'll just do a single one, but we'll say there is another one in my other leg if need be.
Sure thing.
And then, so I have 2 in destroy, and then I have my weapon. Do I just roll the 2? Or
I want to assist with targeting.
Oh, that would be great.
You're like, you're like up in the air. Like your feed is now coming into his feed.
Well, I don't think Kodo's up in the air, but tell us how you're sending the targeting data.
So as a technician, I say, don't hand do this. Make sure you hit him at 45 degrees, and that will make the knockback go away from the hospital. I start talking to math to you and physics.
Your
I love
connection cut out.
Oh, I start talking math and physics to him so that he can hit with a proper trajectory to push him away from the hospital.
So that'll be my goal. Is I want to obviously do damage, but I want to move this mech away from the hospital.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So this will be because you declared gear, and the mech is sort of like standing, is shut down at the moment. This will be risky. Great if you get a success, and you got that assist from Kodo. So you can either take. You're already at great effect, so you can't improve your effect any further. But you could make this a controlled action. Or you could take an additional die.
I think I'm going to take the additional die. Give myself a better shot of rolling a 6. Oh, 6!
There we go.
We did it, finally. We're out of the rut.
All right. So tell me how you safely destroy the Arquebusier.
So I feel like I've already started running at this thing, but of course I'm slow. So all this conversation about hitting it in the right way, and like the meme with all the mats floating in the air around Zach Galifianakis, that's what's happening to me inside this mech. And I'm coming up like a upper shot, but then I stop and I like toss it to my other hand and swing away and knock them off away, hopefully from the hospital. At least a little bit of clearance.
Yeah, so you come around the other side of it and stab it through the Arquebusier. The Arquebusier collapses backwards with the spike driven into it, and it falls onto its back, probably into like some already destroyed building or like a parking lot or something. And just like smoke starts pouring out of the like the wound you've dealt to it, and then the cockpit in the chest pops open and more smoke comes out, and the pilot like tumbles out coughing.
Mo, I hope you like those converters charred a little bit.
Oh, you're muted.
You're muted, Mo.
I grumble. My player says, since this was great effect, do we take the clock? The hospital clock?
No, because the Arquebusier had 3 ticks remaining to finish it off. But now it's no longer an obstacle.
But its pilot might be.
The pilot could potentially be, yeah. They're a little out of it at the moment with their mech getting knocked out from under them.
Got it.
But she could still potentially be a threat. But we'll see how things shake out. Like for instance, what's Pops? Pops, what are you doing to try and deal with this other mech that has shown up?
Okay, so I've obviously already seen this guy's fighting style. All right, I know what he's gonna do. He's gonna try to. I'm gonna get up close, and he's gonna try to punch me. I know it. I saw him do it already. He's gonna do it again. He knows I'm in this mech, and he's got the same idea that I have. We're gonna do this again. All right, this is round 2. All right, and as I get closer, and I know the punch is coming, and I'm going to use my maneuver ability to kind of like feint him and just like backhand his mech to the ground.
So if you want to roll maneuver, I will give you reduced effect because that is not like an action for attacking. That's an action for like moving around.
Yes.
I will let you roll that, but it's going to be risky limited.
Okay. Yeah. Cause I'm more of like, maybe I'm thinking I'm trying to get him to, trying to just get him to trip up. All right. And I'm going to use and I'm going to declare that I have an item. All right. I have a grapple anchor tool. All right. That I'm going to like, kind of like shoot it across. I don't care about these buildings anymore. And I'm going to just launch it into a building to kind of like almost act like a trip line, as I'm also to kind of help me make sure that he really does trip and fall on his face.
Okay. I'll, I think that's probably giving you the opportunity to do this in the first place. So I'm not going to increase your effect with this.
All right. That's fair. Okay. So then
yes.
I roll I've got 2 in maneuver.
Unless you want to push yourself by spending a quirk.
Oh, I'm going to spend a quirk. I have an over boosted generator. This makes me move. When I want to, I can move really fast.
Okay, so mark that off. Take the extra die or improved effect, whichever you prefer.
I'm going to take the extra die.
Okay, then this will be risky limited with 3 dice.
All right, here we go. I rolled nice. A 1, a 3, and a 3. Give it to me. Give it to me real good, okay?
Yeah, okay. So you set up this trip line and like swing around. You're trying to this mech. It's got its 4 legs with its spherical wheels. I think you like start to wrap around it, and it like you, as you pointed out, it's pretty. The pilot's pretty capable with his hands, and so he like very quickly holsters the machine gun that his mech is holding, and grabs the cable with both hands, and just yanks at like incredibly fiercely. And with 4 legs, it has more stability than your mech, your bipedal mech does, and it just rips the grapnel anchor tool right out of your mech. So I'm going to say junk your grapnel anchor tool. So put a J in the slot for it. And what that means is that it is destroyed, but it's still taking up load on your vehicle until you remove it.
Okay. All right. It's all right. Hey there, Kodo. You're gonna need to fix that later. As you see, like my grapple hook that you just installed go fly into the air.
Yeah.
All right.
If you get out the way, I might be able to EMP him.
Oh my word! You kids with your EMPs and your hacking. Like, get up! I've tried to teach you. Just get up in here. All right,
see how that's going for you.
All right, never mind. Point taken. my drive to teach a worthy generation pilots. Maybe they're worthy, but I'm not doing the teaching. That's for sure. Okay. All right. I'm off kilter now. You know, I kind of stumble out of the way.
All right. So it sounds like Kodo's going to try and make some kind of EMP attack on this brace then.
So let's see. I'm going to check my box. And I'm still at light load. I'm doing an interface roll. And hey, Gamble, do you have enough bandwidth to tell me that code again?
Yeah. Obviously, I haven't memorized.
Left, right, up, down, A, B, start?
Yeah. All right. I'll take another stress and give you some help.
Okay.
So
this will be risky standard because you're using that EMP for your interface, and then you can of course have controlled position, great effect, or an extra die from Gamble's assist.
So if I do a controlled position, does that reduce the chance of hitting my compatriot?
Yes, yeah. So basically, a controlled position will reduce any consequences that you get. There's also sort of an additional benefit for being in controlled, which is that if you fail, you don't just immediately get a consequence. You're given some options. You're allowed to back off, try something else, or try again from a risky position.
Got it. So I'm going to take controlled and make it 2d6.
Okay, controlled standard with 2 dice interface to EMP this brace.
And I roll a 6.
Ooh.
Hey, there we go.
Huzzah!
You guys are doing such a great job tonight. All right.
I thought you said.
It's amazing how much you all have grown since you started working at the scrapyard.
So, like last time when you EMP'd the arquebusier, I'm going to give you that choice again. Do you want to put 1 tick into the mash and 1 tick into the brace, or do you want to put them both into the brace?
1 into the mash, 1 into the brace.
Okay, so the doctors have almost finished setting up. I think if it weren't for the combat going on at the moment, they'd already be starting triage on the walking wounded. So who has something else that they want to do? Gamble, what are you up to after having stabbed that arquebusier?
So is the other mech the one that came out of the building? Do we have a name for that one yet?
Yes, it's called a brace.
All right, the brace. Has it been EMP'd successfully?
Yes, it is twitching and is essentially shut down if you're trying to make an encore of what you did previously.
Actually, I was thinking, like, I don't really know anything about this guy in particular. He clearly has some kind of information we might need since he is purposefully trying to start a fight with us. And even if not, he's technically civilian. So according to our engagements, as far as we know, we don't want to damage him or any other property. So can I attempt to hack his mech now and just make it like dead completely?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a perfect opportunity for that.
Or even your mech.
Yes, make it my other mech.
Your mech.
My second mech.
Well, you haven't completed your drive yet.
That's true.
To develop a virus to control any mech remotely. But I would say that this might be pursuing your drive for a tick at the end of mission. Okay,
yeah,
so
I got all these codes that I have, like, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna try this one now. I'm gonna try this one now, and I use this data to help me make that virus.
So is there any gear you want to declare to help you with this?
I mean, I have a lot of stuff in here for like, so that's for acquiring data, edit programs on the fly, bypass signal blocking devices, use to defend against hacking. There's nothing in the vehicle gear that specifically helps with hacking, but there is a hack rig and pilot gear. Do I need that in order to do this, or?
So the hacker is sort of unique in that they almost kind of have two vehicles in a sense. One is your traditional vehicle, the other is your hack rig, because you'll note that all of the programs that you can take as a character are under vehicle gear. Mm-hmm. So your hack rig can be loaded with any of your programs that you want. So you can either have, your data bomb program installed in your vehicle itself, or you could declare a hack rig for your pilot and then install the data bomb or whatever program in that. It's sort of like, are you doing the hacking through your vehicle, or are you like sitting in your cockpit whipping out a laptop, or like have a full desktop PC set up inside of your cockpit, or just do you whip out an iPad and do it?
So I feel like for this, we'll say, because I feel like data bomb, that's probably something standard. So I would say I would have the data bomb program just part of my vehicle gear.
Okay.
That brings me up to 4 declared out of 6. And then for my quirk, I'm going to activate my quirk custom AR rig.
Yep.
And that's where I have my own special flair for adding into this. So my intrusion or interface, that's technically a pilot action, but can I use that under?
Yep.
Okay.
So there are some pilot actions that you can use in tandem with your vehicle, and the vehicle, in certain cases, will provide you like improved position or effect, right? Like obviously, if you're on foot trying to hack this vehicle, then you'd probably be in a desperate position. Or, if you're like if you're threatening someone with command while in your vehicle and they're on foot, then, you're probably going to have better effect. Mm-hmm. So in this case, between your data bomb program, you're going to be at risky standard to do this. And so do you want to spend your custom AR rig as a push for extra dice or improved effect?
I'm going to go for improved effect on this one.
So this will be risky great. And do you want to get an assist or a collateral die?
Does anybody want to assist? I only have 2 dice right now, but if I get it, it's going to be great.
I'm going to use my final tactical genius, and it's going to work this time. I'm going to sit. All right. We trained for this. We trained for this.
No. Here's what it is, Tom. The wire that you use to like wrap around him.
He grabbed it.
Toss me the other end of it, and I jack it into my mech, and it gives me like a solid line connection.
It was all a feint. Oh,
yes.
Guys,
You're a genius.
I didn't mess up. I was a plan. All right, so that's what I do.
All right, so I'll take 3 dice, and we're at great. Here we go. 6.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Yeah. So you completely shut down the brace by getting that hard line connection. You insert the data bomb program and you just like fry the operating system with your skill. All right, so the brace is taken care of. And with both the brace and the arquebusier dealt with, I think it's safe to say that there's plenty of time left for the mash clock to get its one more tick, since it's basically set up at this point. You know, the arquebusier pilot and the brace pilot might want to try and cause more trouble.
I want to go help Larissa Burser.
Yeah? Okay,
Yeah.
so
I take her some water, and I help her out of the smoky cockpit.
Yeah, so she's like coughing, her throat kind of raw from the smoke and the damage done to her arquebusier, and she takes the water.
Here you are, ma'am. I'm sorry about that.
And she takes a swig of it, and she says, "Thanks." And she like looks up and sees that you aren't like one of the Hollanton citizens, and aren't like or nor are you a member of the Church of the Celestial Myriad. And she sort of like raises her eyebrow at this.
Look, we're not here to hurt anybody. We just kind of came to help some of these people out. A lot of people were injured. They aren't really part of the war. And yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for the water, I guess. Okay. I guess I'll sit this one out now.
I try to kill her with kindness.
Yeah, I don't think that there's a role here. I think she's just, like she's done, and you have assured that she's not going to try and go and get reinforcements or something.
I tell her I'll help her turn on her machine if she doesn't shoot us out the sky.
Yeah, so that's going to complete the mash clock with this goodwill effort that you've shown. You've bought the time the doctors need to set up. So yeah, that's the mission completed.
Now they got to break it down and leave.
No, they I think between Kodo's like goodwill gesture at the end there, and the fact that no one wants to be the person, no one wants the bad PR of like trying to force the Doctors Beyond Stars to leave a like clearly devastated area that they've already set up in. I think they've got their own PR methods and are videotape. Once they're set up, they start cameras rolling, showing the effort that they're doing to make sure that no one tries to shut them down once they're going.
Is anybody going to interrogate the other pilot, who is obviously a plant?
He is definitely going to try and make a break for it if someone wants to try and grab him.
It's almost like we would cut. It would be like the complete opposite of what Kodo just did with this whole kindness. And I am like, I've jumped out of my mech. This guy is like, I am just about to beat the snot out of this person. Like, I have like, if I could rip the door off of their mech, I would. Like, I'm about to take him out.
Okay, this is definitely not part of your mission purview. So I'm going to say there is a role here if you do want to try and capture this person.
Yes.
So what do you want to roll for that?
I'm going to shoot him in the leg. All right. And I'm going to use I have a pistol, and I'm just going to blast him.
All right. That sounds like struggle to me.
Yes. Okay. So. Oh, what if you don't have anything in struggle?
then you're going to roll 2 dice and take the lower one.
Okay. All right. So what I'm going to say instead is I'm going to pull my gun out, and I'm not going to shoot him, but I'm going to say, I will shoot you if you don't stop. And I'm using my consort.
No, that would be command.
Oh, well, okay. Never mind.
When you command, you force immediate obedience. You
Okay. All right. You know
If
what?
you're gonna consort, you're like, hey man, please just hang out. Let's talk.
No.
No, that piece is off the table.
Peace is off the table. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and just, I'm going to do struggle.
Before you roll, remember, you can always push yourself for an extra die. And even if you bump yourself up to just 1 die, that's still a 50-50 shot of success.
Okay.
And you could get an assist or take a collateral die to improve your odds.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take some stress. All right.
So it's 2 stress to push yourself.
I'll do an assist.
All right. How are you helping, Gamble?
So here's how I'm helping is I am going to go ahead and declare that I have a heavy cannon. Okay. And that'll be my free 2 for that. And so I'm still at 4 technically, right? Because I have the 2 free points for weapon.
Yep, that's true.
And I am going to take my heavy cannon and it's got like a laser sight, and I'm just gonna like have it tracking him like in his visual where he can see, like in Predator when you got the little 3 dots, like it's about to go down. So he's got some heavy cannon dots on his back that he can see flashing over his shoulder as he runs.
Okay. All right. So, I think this is as you said, Pops, you're like jumping him before you even tried to get out of his cockpit, right? That's the plan?
Yeah, I'm almost envisioning he's kind of gotten out a little bit. He's trying to run, and now I'm going to shoot him.
All right. So, I'm guessing you're taking an extra die from the assist from Gamble?
Yes, and I spent a stress too. Is that something I even need to do?
It's 2 stress to push yourself.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I did do that. So I'm rolling. Okay. So I'm rolling 3 dice.
If you're struggling, and you're getting 2 benefits, then that's going to be 2 dice. Because you started at 0, right?
Okay, 2 dice. Yes. So I'm rolling 2 dice, and I take the lower.
No, because you've gotten the benefits. You're no longer at 0. You're now at 2 instead.
Okay, I rolled a 1 and a 2.
Okay. So unfortunately, this person gets away. They clearly like run. You shoot at them and you miss. And I think they like notice that the targeter is on them from Gamble's mech. But with that heavy cannon, they're pretty sure that you're not going to open fire and also blow up Pops. They know that you're bluffing basically.
Oh man!
And so they duck around a corner. And Pops, you turn around that corner and they are gone. Clearly they know some sort of secret passage or like hidden path or whatever.
This is perfect because in all mech anime, like the old people never get rivals. It's only the young people who get rivals, and this is my rival. Like,
so here's the thing: in Beam Saber, there is a rival mechanic.
Oh yeah.
So you can at any time, each pilot can have up to 1 rival.
Yeah.
And you can declare an NPC a rival, and that gives them greater narrative weight, ensuring that they are going to come back at some point later on in the story, and they will be a major threat because it guarantees that they are always going to be at least an 8-tick clock to overcome.
Oh, yeah.
And they get what are called rival moves, which means that at any time when they show up, they can inflict a consequence. Even if you've rolled a 6, even if you haven't rolled, even if you're rolling a fortune roll or a gather information roll that normally wouldn't have a consequence, they can inflict a consequence at any time. And they get to do that a number of times equal to the number of pilots on the mission.
I will find you, Tank Top. I will find you. As I slowly turn back to Gamble and I say, thanks for the help, but it's no avail. Wasn't today.
We got a free mech.
We got our free mech.
Yeah, I'm starting my, I got like a wire net that I like wrap around the brace and hook it to my waist on the mech, not my physical waist, my mech's waist, to drag it back to Journey City.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, boys, I think we did good. We did
I
good?
think we ought to get out of here.
I think we did too.
Yeah, let's take our bomb and our mech and let's go.
Let's go, guys.
Can
got a
I
bomb.
can I have Miss Larissa Purser as a contact?
Yeah, you can put her on your sheet. I don't think she would necessarily be an ally just yet
No.
because you just met her, but it's definitely something you could work towards with like a long-term project during downtime. So yeah, definitely write her down. So yeah, that is the mission complete. I know that we were aiming to finish up by 10 o'clock, so we probably don't want to go through the mission completed stuff, but just to like give a very quick overview of what would happen. Normally you'd get a supply roll if you were working for one of the factions, but since this is independent, we just skipped that. You'd still get the independent bonus, which is increased rep, and you'd get the rep for normally completing the mission. And then we would do an upkeep, which would repair any level 1 damage and level 1 harm that anyone has taken. You'd also have an opportunity to refresh your quirks on your vehicles. And then we'd adjust the status and trust of the various squads that were involved. So, your trust with the Celestial Myriad would probably go down a bit for the trouble you've caused. And your status with the squads here, the Doctors Beyond Stars, that would improve. Your status with the Cult of Earth Found, that probably would actually stay the same because of the fact that you treated Larissa well. If you'd harmed her further after taking her mech out, then it would have gone down. The squad that the person who is now the rival of Pops, that would probably go down because they're called the Burden, and they are an anti-off-worlder, like freedom fighters group.
Ooh, don't like them.
So you probably lose some favor with them. Oh, actually, because you declare them a rival, that automatically drops their status by 1 point.
Good.
So yeah. And then we do an entanglement, which is being part of the war is unfair. The people in charge do things that seem random and incompetent, and your friends and allies are in danger, are vulnerable simply because they know you. So we'd roll randomly to see what happens between the end of the mission and the start of downtime. But again, this being a one-shot and us being pressed for time, we'll skip over that. And then we'd go into downtime, where each of you would get 3 downtime activities to heal up, relieve stress, and pursue your own long-term projects.
What? So I wound up with 8 stress at the end.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of stress.
Yeah.
What's
so the way that you go ahead?
I was gonna ask what these stress scars are. What's that all about?
So if you max out your stress, then you get a scar.
Oh, nice.
Which is something that helps color your actions going forward. It's there's a list of them for what you can pick underneath where it says scars. And if you struggle excuse me. If you struggle
Take your time.
He's getting choked up about it. It's really important.
I know. When you let go of stress, it's such a beautiful
I was hoping I should have just filled it up. Because I see this thing called Obsessed, and I could have just been I'm already obsessed with Tank Top. Tank Top's gonna be living in my mind forever.
So yeah, if you struggle because of a scar, then you can mark XP at the end of session. Is sort of what happens with scars.
Okay.
But if you get 4 of them, then your pilot is too emotionally damaged to continue on, and they need to retire from the war.
All right. Well, I think that was Austin, you've played a lot of games with Beam Saber. I personally feel like we gave the game justice, so I had fun.
Yeah, this was a great session. It was a lot of fun.
All right. Cool. Well, this was a blast. Definitely, folks, if you're listening, check out Beam Saber. We'll include all these links and any show notes we do. This was awesome. Austin, what's the status of Beam Saber? Where can people buy it? Is this a physical book people can buy yet? I know there's still a lot of work you're doing. I saw some pictures. What's up?
Yeah, so you can, if you go to austin-ramsey.itch.io, or if you just search Beam Saber on itch, it's pretty easy to find. Actually, even if you just Google Beam Saber RPG, you should be able to find it. So the rules are complete at this point. We're about to release version 1.0 of the PDF. We're just working some last kinks out of the PDF version, but the layout is complete. And as for a physical version, their pre-orders are still open, but not for much longer. Definitely by the end of the summer, the pre-orders for the physical version are going to close. And then after that, there may or may not be copies available for sale later on, probably through Indie Press Revolution. But if you want to ensure that you get a physical copy of Beam Saber, you're going to have to get on that pre-order. So yeah, it's coming up soon.
Sweet. Well, yeah. No, this is a lot of fun. So I got one last question for you before we kind of do our sign-offs. All right, you can keep this brief. If you could recommend one mech anime to anybody, like what's the one mech anime you're going to recommend?
Honestly, the original Gundam. Okay. It's a great show. It still holds up. I know some people don't like the older animation styles, but there is still a lot of really good animation in it.
Okay, that's it. All right, let's do our sign-offs. Jake, where can people find you? And do you got a favorite mech anime?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/frenzied furling. And obviously the best mech anime is the flesh mech anime, which is Attack on Titan.
Okay.
Because that's all it is. It's fleshy mechs.
those squishy kind. Okay. All right, Jake. You can, Mo, yourself, where can people find you, what you're working on? And, if you're into mech animes, what's one that you're going to recommend?
My favorite mech anime is going to be Voltron because I'm old school.
I love the new series. So good.
I don't think anybody remembers Star Blazers, but that was a beautiful thing too. You can find me at ashyfeet.com, ashyfeet1 on Twitter. I have a game coming out called Holdfast Station, which is a blue-collar space game about holding together your community on a mining station. It is very exciting, not like this. So you could find Shibuya Nights at IPR, at Drive-Thru, and many of your local game stores. And hey, this was so fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you for playing. And then, as always, folks, you can find everything we're doing on the RPG Academy and all those kind of good stuff, all those podcasts. You can follow me at BezcarTom on Twitter. Yes, that's Mandalorian Metal Tom. And then if I were to recommend a mech anime, it would definitely be the much slept on Knights of Sidonia. It's so good. All right. That's it. So we're all wrapped up with this. So I'm going to give the honors to Jay.